One. All right. That way, your people can actually start seeing the notification,
All right.
and they can jump in when they can.
Right.
With all the things that's going on now, it's like really, really getting bad out there, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with society anymore. It's just getting more and more uglier day by day by day. All these Democrats coming out the woodwork, showing their true hind part, how much they actually just straight taking money from people, and nobody
Yeah,
saying nothing
man.
about it.
Nope. And you know what? Funny is that you know I remember it, and while we on the topic of that, you know what I mean. I remember when I first kind of started going down this rabbit hole, right? And I realized, Joyce, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome in, Joyce. I realized that there was no bottom.
Yeah,
Like I just got to the point where I was finding out so much stuff that I was just like, I can't do this. This is too much.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And at some point you just realize that you just have to accept that, not that I'm okay with it, but you have to accept that people are just evil to some extent. And
Man,
these and these politicians, man, and
you,
it's hard. I don't think people realize how bad identity politics is. If you're just going to keep voting for somebody based on identity, and I mean, both of us, we understand that you're trying to give a segment or a group of people a leg up and giving them opportunity, and we get that part. But when you get there, you turn around and get a middle finger to the very people that got you there.
you know, and that's something that's really interesting because with some of the information you sent me, some of the information I have found,
Right.
and it's disgusting on how these people
What's
of
up, top
this,
to bottom?
I'm gonna put it like this, of the same persuasion, how you taking for so many years people complained about taking from the same,
Right.
and they still continue to do so, and now more blatantly taking from the same people, and people still fall for the okie doke saying, oh, that's a good person. I don't get it.
What's up,
I don't get I don't
unknown
get it.
Kimberly? Yeah, it's I don't get it, man. And you know, my heart, it kind of bothers me, man. When I look at how I grew up and I look at the areas that I grew up in, and I always relate to how I grew up because that's my greatest experience.
Right.
And I've always tried on whatever level I could to try to make my community as best as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And I've tried to be a contributor, not what they call one that wants to take from everything. And I always believe that try to make it better than you found it.
Right. 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 Right.
Try to make it better than you found it. I mean, so it just I know you found a lot, and there's a whole lot that I did not even send you. I just
I believe it. I
I
believe
just
it.
right, and that's why I said
I mean,
I said
the worst thing is when you see a person of age. Ron, you got to understand something. Not only are you and I both, I'm going to say in a close age bracket. Okay,
yeah,
let's just say above 40. Let me just put it like that. To see somebody in their 60s blatantly taking more money from the same people she's supposed to uphold and enrich and empower, and turn around and take that same money away from them for her own self gain. Come on, man. And let's not even talk about that other lady, the other lady, Tawana Waters. I turned to her and I started laughing. I was like, "Why is she trying to be? Why is she trying to be like the Housewives of Atlanta?"
Bro.
I mean, I stood there and I watched that thing, and before you even informed me on that one, I had seen it, and I was like, "Is that lady seriously a councilwoman holding a big ass party like that in the middle of the city? Does she not think somebody's gonna find out about what she's doing?"
Right in the face of the people that's struggling.
Yes. Right in the middle. Yes. In their face. Literally
Right
saying,
face.
screw
Right.
you. Yeah. I
Right.
took your money and what?
And
then it turned around and said, "Well, I paid 20,000 back."
Right. 20,000. Never mind the other 100,000. Never mind the. And then she tried to say, "Oh, well, I didn't do. You know, I pay." You don't make 15 mistakes filling out applications. 15 different applications. And then wait a minute. Then on the backside, when she tried to get the loan, she falsified the loan forgiveness at paperwork. So you just doubled down on this.
Yeah.
You just doubling down on it. But you know what, Jay, man, you know, I mean, we all got our issues. It doesn't matter what segment of life you come from, when it comes to race and stuff like that. We all got our issues. Every race got problems. Every race got issues going in. Because I guarantee you, if you go look at some of these, because here's the thing, you look at some of these other politicians, and regardless to their skin color, and the point that I mean by identity politics is that no one should be voting for anyone based on their skin color. It doesn't matter what color there is. That's the point that we're trying to make, is that it's not about just those particular people. It's just that we know that in the areas that they usually serve, the people are struggling the hardest, and and you're going to do that to them.
Yeah.
And I always relate back to when back when I was growing up in Philly and stuff like that, and like the basketball courts was a mess, the baseball courts was all destroyed, the parks was a mess, and none of this stuff ever got done, fixed, and kept up and maintained. But y'all found money for gender surgeries.
Right. Yeah.
Now I ain't got money to fix the parks.
No money to fix the parks.
But y'all got you found a way to get $15,000 to have a party on. Now you could have took that $15,000. What's up, out the pit? How you doing? You could have took that 50 grand, X'd out the party, had a party for about $500 amongst your closest friends, and then do what? Had a party amongst your closest friends and put that $15,000 in your community, made something look better.
No, that's just the horse carriage itself. And let's not forget that bottle she done put up, that pink customized bottle that she done held up. She done held up a customized bottle that we know done cost a good couple of hundred, maybe even $1,000 or $2, because it was a customized bottle. She wanted to turn it up, and she did.
It is unbelievable, man. And listen, man, I love my country. Like I tell people, I know it's people don't understand how much I've grown to love my country. And sometimes when people hear you say that, they think it's only supposed to become from one segment of people. A reason why I say that, man, because I had to actually look back and actually had to kind of do a self-evaluation. I'm like, man, I got to do just about everything I wanted to do once I put my mind to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I had to really check myself. I was like, bro, do you know you had your own business? You chose to do that and you did it. I said, you did not have a whole lot of money. You took what you had and you tried to make it work.
Right.
And you did it.
Right.
And you've done it more than once. And throughout my life, and I'm not, like I said, it's not even about being rich, because I'm not rich. I'm not even close. I sneeze hard, it's over. But
speak the truth.
But I, in a place where, we was having a conversation, and it was I said, in a place where You have, I don't know if you and your wife do this sometimes, but what we gonna eat today, right?
That's every moment,
right? And then you really don't you don't have a taste for nothing. You don't really know what you want, blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's a great place to be in when you asking like, what am I gonna eat today? When there's somebody else that they're rumbling through some trash, trying to figure out what they're going to eat. I'm not there. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't. I'm not going to sit here and murmur and complain and so forth. For me, man, it's like, I try to encourage anybody and everybody, but more so the people that come from the area that I grew up in and stuff like that. Bro, the United States has great opportunity. You got to take advantage of this. You can't sit back and wait for it to happen. You got to get out there and you got to take advantage of this. You can't complain about the conditions of your community. And this is where I have a problem with these politicians is that y'all vote for these people, right? Yeah. We all vote for these type of people. In any community, it doesn't really particularly mean just us, but in any community, you vote for these people in hopes that they're going to do exactly what they say they're going to do, right? Now, they might win the first time. Now, okay, let's say that the voting term thing comes back around again, and y'all, they didn't do nothing what they said they was going to do, but you still vote them back in again. Why did you do that? And
because
listen,
they dumb and slick. That's all it is. That's all it is. Honestly, that's all it is. Because look, let's keep 100. All right, you and I, we got a lot of things in common. You and I, and we both have businesses, and we both understand what the struggle is, right? Right. So what I don't understand is this. I know it when I was young, I was dumb and stupid. Right, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Dumb and stupid. Because when I was young, I did a whole lot of dumb, stupid stuff. Right. As I got older, I still did a lot of whole dumb, stupid stuff. Right. So now, I look at how these people, they, like you said a moment ago, they choose to elect a person of the same color, thinking that things are gonna get better, because they gave them a song and dance in the beginning.
Yep.
And then yet fail to understand that within the first 30 days, let's be like within the first 90 days, if you don't see what that person already promised you in the 90 days, you can forget about it. You can forget about it. They ain't gonna do anything they told you they're gonna do. That's first and foremost. Right. Okay. You look at what we are now encountering with President Trump. In the first 100 days, he has done 90% of the stuff that he said he was gonna do. Got it done. Not even doing it. Got it done. And within 100 days, fast. No. No other president has done
swift. It was swift. Yeah, it was
like a Ginsu knife.
And my thing is, you don't usually see. I and I say this before, and I said I don't think I've ever seen a politician literally go in office and do exactly what they campaigned on. I said I've never seen this. This is this is unreal. They actually did what they said they were going to do. And I look back at some of the politicians that you might get a sprinkle, a little bit of sprinkle, but you never get like bam, 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 bam. It's like wait, it's like a phenomenon. So much and so fast that I couldn't even keep up. It was just too many moving parts for me.
And to piggyback off that, what it is, what I think it is, in my opinion, is this: it happened so fast because he was already mentally prepared and physically prepared to already know what to put on the paper to make it happen.
He learned from the last.
Yeah, he learned from the last time.
I'm looking at Out the Pitch comment. What's up, Mike in the building? How you doing? God bless you, bro.
Mike in the building. Thank you for joining us.
And you know what? Out the put, I think you're on point with that, bro. Honestly speaking, because he to me, and this is my opinion, and just like Jay has his opinion, he exposed a whole lot. Like, how is it that all this time we didn't watch these politicians, get up there and say this? And now, don't get me wrong, Jay. We all both know the process with Congress and all that other stuff like that. We understand Congress, the House, the Senate, and all that other red tape that goes on in the arguments and stuff like that.
Right.
And Mike in the building. We're gonna probably get to that, brother. We're gonna
probably
get
we are.
We definitely
gonna get to that.
You on it. But he was like, the way that he went into office and the way that he exposed how, and my thing is this, is that Congress, we know that Congress, the Senate and the House is a way to kind of balance the system out so that we don't have a president that just go rogue and do what he wanted to do. But also Trump showed these other leaders that, listen, I'm still top dog. Some of you guys wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me and my campaign. So you have to, I'm trying to do what I campaign doing. Now y'all guys are making it complicated by throwing stuff in there that we didn't ask for. And he keeps referring back to, this is what I ran on. I'm doing this for the people. I haven't changed my stance. That tell me that even after he got in office, he still didn't get bored. Yeah. Because he pissed off his biggest financial supporter probably.
Yeah, he did. And here's the funny thing. I said for many, many years, because I was never into politics until I met you, Ron. Okay. When I met you, I dove into politics, and now I'm neck deep in politics.
Well, listen, I sat back and I said, he have no idea what he's doing. I said, I guarantee you he's going to get pissed. I said, he's going to be talking probably. If you go back and look at some of my old videos and lives, Jay, you're going to be like, he said, that's how I sound. Because it hurts you. Listen, if you're a person that cares a little bit, and I care a lot, it's going to hurt you to your heart to see what these people are doing to the everyday citizens. Now, here's the thing. I had a conversation with a family member, and I said to them, you don't know what I know. And he was like, how you going to say I know? I said, the reason why I know you don't know, because you work 80 hours a week. You don't have time to find out the information that I find out. This is the reason why you're so consumed by that. And the only bits and pieces you're getting is enough to make you think the way you're thinking. I said, I have the time to go look. Right. And I said, now, if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, I said, I'll give you time and then you come back and tell me.
Right.
I haven't heard from him since.
Embarrassed.
Right.
And that's like how I used to say back in the day. I didn't want to get into politics because I always knew that there was a bunch of lies and a bunch of crooked people, and I don't want to deal with them, right? From both sides of the table. It didn't matter to me because I knew it was that way. Then I met this guy that's a senator now, which is Cory Booker, right? Now, Cory Booker, when I met him, he was a great guy. I kid you not. We broke bread on Sundays. You know, a group of us all broke bread with him and his staff and his police, detail and stuff like that. Every Sunday, without failure, every Sunday we all broke bread. In the wintertime, when he was pushing cars out of the snow and making all this good stuff, when he was a mayor, before he even became mayor, he was doing the same thing. Now, I'm ashamed to even know this man and see what he talks about now. Okay? Because it's just straight stupidity, right? Now, I also to piggyback off of something you mentioned a moment ago is the reason why I got so deep involved is like you said, it's about caring. If we care enough, people will start listening. Just the other day, I saw a video of this kid up in the town I used to live in, back in Newark, New Jersey. This kid, he's famous. I mean, he made himself real famous. Chris, what's good? What's good? Chris, what's good? Thanks for joining. He's got a lot of content, right? And I feel bad because he really doesn't know what he's doing. He's putting a bullseye on himself because they're gonna come at him hard. They're gonna come at him hard, and he doesn't know exactly how hard they're gonna come at him. And the worst make it worse is that he's a former person of the opposite side of the law. Okay, so they're gonna track him down even faster, and they're gonna come at him even harder. And he doesn't realize that yet. Because he's exposing a lot of nonsense that the city doesn't want the city doesn't want people to know about, right? So that's the problem right there. And I tried to reach out to him. I sent him messages. I sent him emails. The boy don't want to get back at me, and I kind of understand why. Because he believes ain't nothing going to happen to him. But hell, I already know they're coming at him. I know they're coming at him. It's going to start with simple things: traffic stops, illegal searching. They're just gonna bust his chops until he breaks. And when he breaks, that's when they're gonna snatch him up, right? Yep. Now, to jump back on the politics real quick, I used to say all the time, the Senate And Congress is what runs the presidency. The president is nothing but a puppet.
Yep.
Now it is the opposite.
Right.
Now it's the president that actually runs everything.
Right.
Which is very good to see.
Right.
Because if you don't have the balls or the gall to stand up to the people who voted you in, then you're useless. So now we talk about Elon Musk real quick, right?
No.
If anybody hasn't figured out this ploy between the both of them is just to increase the sales of the EV cars. That's all it is. Because if he didn't say it in the beginning, he didn't say it in the first 60 days, okay? He didn't complain about nothing in the first 90 days.
Right.
And then, of course, the day that he had his son in the Oval Office, he could have just put it right there in public. He could have put him on blast.
Right.
Right. And he chose not to. And then he came back into the Oval Office, because I won't forget this video that he was there when he had that Doge Father t-shirt on underneath his blazer.
Right.
He had another opportunity to put him on blast, and he chose not to.
Yep.
So now he puts on blast. This is all a political stunt. It's a political stunt for him to get the volume that he's looking for, because he lost a lot of money.
Yeah, he did.
Look at his stocks. We know, we follow stocks.
Right.
His stocks are tanking.
Right. He put a lot of money in his campaign too.
Of course. Because he wants the EV. He wants the rights to a lot of the technology, the liquid technology that's coming. Right? So he wants that.
Right.
And that's why he's saying what he's saying. But you don't put that nonsense out there about Epstein right now. That don't make no damn sense. That makes sense.
My thing is that I know he was full. When he put it out there, I said, "You full of crap because you left your kid around him."
That's right. That's right.
Whatever. Listen, I don't care. You and your feelings. You left your kid around him.
That's right.
If you left your kid around a man that have those type of tendencies that was going on with the sex trafficking and all that and child trafficking, why would you leave your kid around him? If you felt that was it, I don't care about anything else. Why would you leave your kid around?
That's right.
We already know. But my thing is this, and that Jay, I think that privately, this is just my opinion aspect of. I think privately, him and Trump had a conversation, and they said we need to do something because we know the media going to run with this. We know the media is going to run with this.
Come on, that's not an opinion.
Now, here's the thing: is for Trump and this, it solidifies his support. For Elon,
right?
It gets back some of that EV business that he lost because he lost a lot of his people that buy his product because most of them are liberals.
Right, right.
So he's trying to get it back. He's trying to get his business back. This is just my opinion. They're trying to.
No.
We know. Listen, and then we know inside with Congress and them, there's a battle going on.
Right.
And in the Senate, they try to figure out to get this bill passed. I mean, now. I'm glad they pushed the brakes on it because when I found out about the AI part, I was like, no, I'm not with that. But we don't have to get into that part of it. So I was kind of glad the Senate pushed the brake on it because when I found out about what they were doing with the AI stuff, and I said, no, I don't want that because they were trying to spin this AI thing where they wanted to be able to track illegals and stuff like that, like put a system in to be able to track illegals. I said, no, I'm not with that because that's government overreach because what's going to happen is it's going to go from illegals to citizens. So I wasn't with that. I was like, I don't care. Y'all can hold that build up for as long as y'all want now. That's when I was like, okay, I'm good. The other stuff, I'm 100% with it. But giving government that much power with the AI stuff, I wasn't with that. And we got enough Republicans in there trying to fight against that part.
Well, here's some bad news.
Go ahead.
The first thing we got to realize is this. We got to go back to 2019 when COVID was created.
Right.
COVID was created so that they can track every single person that was injected.
Right.
Didn't matter race, color, creed, size, sex orientation. They just wanted to track everybody. So when they realized that a good majority did not want to get the jab, as we call it, that's when they started saying, okay, we need to figure out some other moves now. We got to figure out how else we're going to snatch them up. Right? Now, we got to remember, as you track a person's way of being, meaning how they live, what they buy, where they buy, you get an understanding of where you're going to dump your money at. Let's just talk business 101, right? Because if you have a cluster of people who spend a lot of money from buying things outside, bring it into where they live. That's where you want to go and dump your business at, because they're going to spend money in your business now because you're giving them something else to buy. So now when we talk about Elon and all the people and all his liberals that were behind him giving him money that now are angry because he got part of it, he's not getting that $1 trillion from his supporters anymore. Now he's got to try to find where he's going to get that $1 trillion from. So now when you talk about taking $1 trillion away from the mouth that fed you, how are you also going to find it? You got to go after the source that created that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a simple narrative. It's a joke. Because in essence, what they're doing is it's a game.
Right.
Because they want everybody to start saying, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Elon's right all the time. He wants to do this. But Elon is the one who showed Bezos on how to create that damn spaceship that they claim they went up into space with.
Right.
Come on now. Because
right.
if you go back, it was Bezos and Elon that sat down together and decided on this spaceship to send up.
Right.
Mysteriously, it never went up because there's too many errors in what's being said about it. Right?
Yeah.
Queen, welcome, Queen Santa Claus.
God bless you.
Now, we got, I don't want to lose track of that comment before of what's happening in California.
Yeah.
So before we go on, let's talk about that real quick, because that's going to piggyback off of something I had said in the live just the other day.
Okay.
Right? The other day, I had mentioned this to a lot of people, especially on TikTok, on Lead, Facebook. I said, why is it that when the government decides to come into a town,
right,
and start telling them exactly what needs to be done and how it should be done, unfortunately, dark-skinned people that call themselves black don't stick up for each other. Okay? They don't. But they prefer to take from each other than to stick up for each other. Right?
Wow.
It's a fact. It's a fact. We can't deny it. We can't deny that.
You're right. You're right.
So now we turn around. We look at what's happening in LA. First and foremost, let's understand something. When I first heard about this, I said, man, Ice Cube is a happy person. Because if we go back to Friday, the movie, it was filmed about Compton and all the nonsense that a lot of black people had to go through. So now you see a whole bunch of Latinos and Latinas, Hispanics, or how you call it, Mexico, Salvador, Peru, all these land communities, all these land countries, all decide to fight in a town or a city that they are literally the minor ones, because there's a small number of them. In Compton? Yeah. Yeah. Look at the numbers. What's according to the census, that group of people are not as high as many would think.
Right.
So,
that also would mean that would make it look suspicious that they went there.
Absolutely.
Dirt as opposed to where they live.
Absolutely.
So all that stuff is a setup.
But I'm sure you heard the missus in the background.
I didn't hear it clearly.
Okay, but she was saying is that if Compton is not majority, the majority of people who live in Compton are not Latinos, okay, or Hispanics, whichever way you want to call them, and from all the movies and all the programs, all the things we heard, Compton is majority black. Why is it that there's all of a sudden all these Latinos are inside Compton causing a ruckus with ICE? That leads a question, and that comes back to conspiracy, right? Because we have to understand something. Regardless of what we look at, the majority of the time when you see ICE arresting somebody, who they're arresting? They're arresting someone from Mexico, Peru, Salvador,
Venezuela.
They're arresting some type of Latino. That's what they're putting on news media.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize if it's all choppy right now. It's because we got a real bad storm coming over us. It's going to last for about 20 minutes.
It's all good.
Now, when you look at who's being arrested by ICE, you got to question, why is it happening? Question why they're going after a specific amount of people in a specific town. That's like ICE going into Harlem, New York.
Right.
Oh, right. We know Harlem, New York is predominantly black.
Right.
You can't say the same thing about Philly because Philly is like kind of really mixed. Right.
Yeah. Philly used to be predominantly. Well, it depends on where you at in Philly. North Philly used to be predominantly black.
Okay.
And what ended up happening, and here's the thing. All right, so you kept hearing the gentrification stuff, right? Now, North Philly was a place where most demographics would not even want to come there other than black people. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, in the last 15 years, that has drastically changed.
Okay.
Now we got lawyers, rich people. The skin color has changed drastically now. They're your neighbors now.
Okay.
Right in the middle of the heart of crime-infested North Philly. They done bought a bunch of the houses. They done gutted these houses, redid them and everything, but they bought them for next to nothing. Now everything in Philadelphia, in those type of areas, you can't buy a house. Some of them they want almost $500,000 for, and it's a row home.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going, and I'm going where you going.
I know where you're going.
Right. So again, this is just my opinion when I look at it economically wise. And I know where you're going, but I'm talking about the economic aspect of it. Is that
go for it?
Sometimes people don't realize how much of a pawn you are. And I don't know if you remember, oh man, what's the movie? Magneto, right? And and when they was in war, he said, wait, the pawns go first.
Right.
Now he told the elites to wait.
Right.
He let all the pawns go out there and do all the fighting and stuff.
Right.
While he sit back and wait.
Right.
Now, if the political aspect of it is that the ones that got the money, they sitting back waiting.
Absolutely.
They sitting back waiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let y'all all act like fools, tear up the neighborhoods, tear up the community, do all of that stuff y'all don't. The ones that sitting back waiting, they say we're gonna get it for next to nothing, and they will all be gone.
Yeah.
While y'all out there tearing, listen, they gonna still get deported. They're gonna be still out there.
Yeah.
But this game is a bigger game than that, and they don't realize how much they're being used.
Yeah. Yeah. You look, that's something that has been seen in look, I seen the same thing in the Bronx growing up. When they burnt the Bronx down, look here, they burnt so many sections of the Bronx down because they thought it was all about the rights of the people. No, It was the way it was. It was designed that way. Okay, in the city of Newark, which is the largest city in the state of New Jersey, they did the same thing. Still to this day, they're doing the same thing.
Same thing.
So just like you said, the city, and I can speak of the city of Newark because that's where I most recently just had a whole lot of stuff done. Right? There's East Newark, there's North Newark, there's South Newark, and there's West Newark. Newark is divided in 4 sections. And why is that? Our favorite president, very well, welcome, Donald. Donald, it's always a pleasure to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully everything is well. And I do hope that you had fun on your last trip because, man, you showed us a lot of stuff. I hope you still had fun.
That's what's up.
Even in the city of Newark, they did the same exact thing that you're talking about. There's certain sections of Newark that I lived in. And the houses right now and where I lived at are going for $500,000 or more. Not even worth it. I did a segment on it. I actually did a segment on it.
Right.
Now, when we talk about, like you said a moment ago, the pawns, it's been happening everywhere.
And she top to bottom is on point because that's exactly why they were trying to make it back in the North Philadelphia. Because North Philadelphia, South Philadelphia is all connected to downtown.
Right.
Like it's right there in downtown. So all of the transportation networks. Now here's a crazy story. When we get into that. Now you know me, but me and you both worked at Home Depot. So you understand my point. All right. So I'm gonna go back to a Home Depot story. Right.
All
right. So let me see, 13th and Fairmont, right? In that area, 16th and Fairmont. Back then was like north part of that was closer to downtown, but 16th and Fairmont was like the hood, right?
Okay.
All right, so one day a lady ordered a washing machine and dryer, and something happened where we had to go and we had to go deliver it because something happened, right?
Okay.
So me and one of the other workers, we go in and we go to the house. Now I'm from North Philly, so I know North Philly at top to bottom, left and right. So we drive down Fairmont, and she actually lived. I think it was Fairmont. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna say it was from Fairmont Avenue.
Okay.
So we go up, pulls up to the house, and I'm looking at the outside of this house. I'm like, man, this house looks really nice on the outside, right? When we go in, now this is the row home. We go inside this house, man. When I say this lady had this house done up nice. Now she put the wash and dryer on the third floor. So it's a 3-story house. We had to take it up 2 flights, right?
Ooh. Okay.
We get it up there. We get it up there. We set it up, whatever case may be. Now I'm looking around the house. Now, when I say this lady house was immaculately done, and I'm like, so of course I'm asking questions. I'm like, now she's a white woman.
Okay.
And I was like, what made you move around here? Right? And my mind is like, I know down the street they got to be shooting around the corner. They selling drugs. They do all types of stuff, right?
Right.
And she said, well, I work downtown, and it's easy for me to get to work.
Right.
And I was like, she said, yeah. She said, my parents used to live up, right. I forget what it was outside of Philly, but she was like, my parents passed away. I sold the house. I didn't want to live there. And this is what she said. She said, I didn't want to be cutting grass all day long. I didn't want to have to pay the landscapers to cut the grass. I didn't want to have to deal with the taxes that was in the area. She said, and to me, it was expensive. She said, my parents' house was paid for, but she said, my parents' house was worth at that time probably about $600,000, right? So she was like, now when she said she lived at, was them houses were like that. They were like mansions. I knew it, the area, but I'm gonna say it was probably like Jenkintown or where a lot of the people that got money at, right?
Okay.
She said, I didn't want that. She said, I looked at it from a financial perspective. She said, I work downtown. She said, I can catch the train to work, right? She said, I bought this house from the people that owned it. I paid $35,000 for it.
Wow.
She said, I sold my parents' house, bought this for $35,000. I gutted it out, spent another $40,000 to $50,000 making it look like how I wanted it to look.
Right.
She said, and I cut down my yearly expenses by almost $15,000.
That's a big cut.
Now, she said, the downside is I know it's not the best of the neighborhood. I said, well, I'm not going to say it's the best of the neighborhood. I said, but I noticed that this area, this block has changed drastically. Right? She said, oh, yeah. She said, I did this almost 5 years ago, and my friends just kept telling me, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? She said, but then when I moved here, every weekend they was at my house. They got tired of traveling to my house. So my girlfriend bought the house across the street. My other friend bought the house. She said, I got 5 friends that now live on my block.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, then the property value just kept shooting up and shooting up and shooting up. Now you got to have some bread to live around there. But people, now here's the thing: the people that actually used to live there were predominantly were all black. They offered them some stupid they thought was a lot of money at the time. They didn't look at the future value. They just looked at the moment, seen a bunch of money, took that money and ran somewhere else. And I guarantee you, a lot of them don't even live where they went and bought their houses at. They probably went and rented somewhere and went through that money, had a good time, whatever the case may be. But that lady said, she said, I don't have to cut grass no more because everything out here is concrete. She said, I don't even own a car no more. She said, I got rid of my car. She said, because I didn't need it. She said, I catch the train to work. She said, it takes me 5 minutes to get to work. I go right there to the train, get on to work, right to Broad Street, get on the train, go to work, come out, and I'm right there at my job. She said, I really don't even need a car at this point.
You know, and that's funny because now, so let me pick it back off of that.
Go ahead, bro.
I want to talk about the city of Newark, right? Newark, New Jersey. We all know who Shaquille O'Neal is. Right. We all know Shaquille O'Neal's got buku money.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you do.
Now, we also know who Queen Latifah is.
Right.
Now, what I don't understand is this. Out of all the years that I lived up there in the city of Newark, right? Shaquille O'Neal put up a movie theater, which is still actually functioning and running now to this day.
Okay.
He put up a building in front of an art center. Okay. Right? Or an art center, meaning they hold shows, they hold art shows, music shows, things like that. He put up a building right in front of that art show.
Oh, what's up?
Right? Yet the building, the average person is not able to afford the rent because the rent is $2,700 or more per apartment. And of course, the bigger the apartment is, the much more money you got to spend.
Right.
Right. The majority of the people who live in that building are renters. They're not even owners because there's a co-op building. They're not even owners. They're renters. Mm-hmm. It's 10 minutes away from the train station that goes into New York City, 42nd Street. 10 minutes, right? Now, just follow me. This is all about business right now.
Right.
Queen Latifah, of course, if you know, you should know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She has a show that's called The Equalizer.
Yeah.
The show Equalizer is predominantly filmed inside the city of Newark.
Okay.
Right? So now she gets a tax break. She turned around and she bought, I think it was like 6 or 7 acres of land that was abandoned buildings. Right?
Okay.
And she turned around, she told the city that she was going to build houses or apartments on that land. This was over a decade ago.
Right.
Because of where it's located, she decided not to build anything on it. But she bought it with the intention that she was going to make some money on it.
Right.
She decided not to buy it. Right? So far, so good. So not only did she invest $1 million into this property and lost a good $700,000 because she didn't make no money on it. Shaquille O'Neal now is wanting turned around and invested some money. He's a silent partner in another building that was built, I'm going to say, literally 3,000 feet away from the train station that goes into New York City.
Wow.
Now, they put up another building. No celebrities, just the ish people that wear black and white all the time.
Wow.
Okay. They bought a building in front of a park on a major roadway that's 15 minutes away from the train to New York City with the intent. And here's what people don't realize. They bought this specific building that's in front of the park because in the next 2 years, they're supposed to reopen what's called a PATH train connecting line to New York City right in front of that building.
Wow.
But yet, the people in the city of Newark are not able to afford anything, and they don't realize what's happening. So when we talk about business, like we were talking about a moment ago, the reason why these celebrities only buy and put up buildings in specific areas is because they want to only allow certain people to live near the train. The whole premise was, I could tell you this, back in 2015, the premise was to turn around and have Newark, New Jersey re-gentrified from where the train station is 6 miles west. 6 miles west of the train station. They want to shut that whole area off so that only certain people can live there. Because the other thing is that in that specific area, there's an arena called the Prudential Center where the New Jersey Devils play. That's the New Jersey Devils home place.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to say this is racist. I'm just going to ask a general question, right? Anybody and everybody who's in this chat and watching this live, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like.
Yes,
follow,
we do.
subscribe.
Yes, we do. Appreciate y'all. Please hit that like button.
You know,
please hit the subscribe button.
I haven't already. And we have a lot of fun. Yet, I'm going to ask everybody that's in this live, if you're listening, even if you're listening, you hit that little button on the side of the microphone or your phone, it can actually record what you're saying. So I want everybody to tell me this. Why is it that hockey, a sport, hockey, was put in a central area or dead smack in the middle of a 97% black neighborhood? Hockey, not basketball. There's no basketball played there whatsoever. Okay? It's not big enough to have a tournament.
Somebody know what's coming.
But this has been there for a good 2 decades now.
Okay.
But you tell me what you think it is. Who this?
Well, I mean, well, my thing is this: is that I don't know New York well enough to know the name, but if it's easy access to the hockey ring, that will be part of it. Because does it connect to all of the trains and the buses and stuff like that? Where it's at?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So that I know that will be part of it because I noticed it makes it easier and it cuts down on the. This is one of the reasons why I know they do it in Philly is to cut down on the traffic and stuff like that. Because here's the thing, they from a business perspective, black people don't watch hockey. They don't buy hockey tickets.
Well, that's see, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I wanted to see if our audience would have said the same thing.
Right.
Because, like I said, it's not basketball.
Right.
They don't even have jazz events there.
But here's the thing: they already know that most of the people in that area probably couldn't afford the tickets anyway. But they do need the workers.
Well, here's the worst part. Here's the worst part about that. That arena has lost over $7 million in revenue.
Wow.
Okay. There's a hotel that's attached to it that has switched names from the hotel 3 separate times. I'm talking about major chain hotels.
Okay.
Have changed. They have left. They have broken their lease and left because the people couldn't afford the amount of money the rooms were charging. We're talking about the Hilton. We're talking about what's that other big chain hotel?
You got the Hilton. You got the Marriott. You got
the Marriott.
You got
and it's one more.
Was it? I don't know. They're that big.
Home something. Anyway, these 3 hotels were at the bottom of the actual Prudential Center. 3 of them, and all 3 of them had left. And now it's some no-name brand hotel. Dagnabbit. Oh, what the hell? I just had the name of it. Anyway, 3 hotels and they left, right? Because the people in the city couldn't afford the rooms. So you figure like this: if you put the hotel there specifically to entertain the people who are coming across in the train station, the American Caucasian folk coming into the city, they were allowing them to have a place to stay because they were getting drunk. And they knew that those people could afford the rooms.
Right.
So here lies the question. The New Jersey Pack Center is literally a 5-minute drive. 5-minute drive. That's how far they are, these 2 buildings. The New Jersey Pack Center holds orchestra nights, jazz nights, shows, Circus du Soleil, and it's separately owned by what's that bank? Not Commerce, TD Bank, right?
Okay.
Now again, we're talking about a business concept here. You have these 2 major sporting events places, but one doesn't have anything for the majority of the people in the town,
right?
And yet, that's where they want to have focus for only Caucasian people to come. But there's no money there. Even the people who worked at the Devil Stadium were only getting paid $8 an hour. But the ticket sales when the games are on were $45 and better.
Okay.
Hot dogs were $12 inside that building. Okay. I make this point. I bring out this point because as we were talking this moment about our business and how people buy and keep things situated so only people can actually afford.
Right.
They put up another brand new building right in front of the Penn Station.
Okay.
A brand new building where the average rent for 1,000 square feet is $3,500 a month.
Oh, no.
Right? Now, the people of the city of Newark will not be able to afford it. So this is coming back now to politics.
Right.
All the people who voted for having Ross Barack in office, Ramos in office, Jeffries in office, Claudine in office. These are politicians who I've actually met in person.
Okay.
Because they voted for them because of the skin of the color of their skin. One is a Latino. The woman is a half-breed. Ross Barack is all black, former gangbanger. And Fortuna has been the sheriff, the main sheriff of the town for over 3 decades. Okay? Now, all these people were voted in, and yet they all respond to one individual that oversees the whole damn County. His name is Joe DiVincenzo, an Italian boy. This man tells everybody what can be done and what can be built inside the city of Newark. Now, when we talk about...
So he's Italian. All right, we just got frozen.
All right. Like I said, we got a real bad storm coming over our heads. I apologize to everybody, but anybody know about the South? Lights go out like that. Right?
Yeah.
So I had to back up. So to make a long story short is this. All these people that were voted into office, all these politicians, Democrats, Republicans, all that,
right?
They were voted in only because of the color of their skin and who they actually represent. But unfortunately, they all still to this day are taking more money out of the pockets of the city of the people. That's the worst part, right? So when we talk about how, right now, you and I have been talking about how, you know, we see these politicians, we see these problems going, and I'm going to revert back to what's happening in Compton, California, with the ICE raids, right? The ICE raids are happening because Donald Trump said it has to happen. The problem behind that, they're only showing the Latinos being arrested. They're not showing any Arabs. They're not showing any Ukrainians. They're not showing any Russians. Right now, from what I'm seeing, that's not who they're showing. Right. So the question lies, why? So could it be it's systematically designed that way? Because why? Because more of the money is being funneled into those countries for the trade economics to continue? Or is it the deal that those presidents made with Trump to take their people back so they could continue trading with the United States? Because let's not forget, Ukraine is having a war with Russia.
Right.
And if anybody knows about anything, you know, Ukraine and Russia, I'm not sure which of the two, but one of them is siding with China or North Korea. The United States don't want to deal with North Korea because, like we said before, you put the pawns in front before anything, right?
Right.
Korea would just hit buttons all day long and have these pretty little things going pew, 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 all in the air. And the United States would be gone. You know, I'm just saying. They didn't show that giant freaking nuclear ship go on the water just because.
Right.
Come on now.
You know. Letting you know.
Right. And that wasn't the only ship they built. It was the only ship that sunk because they launched it the wrong way.
Right.
So come on now. We, you know, these are things that we got to talk about when we talk about politics, because politics plays a role in war and fighting. Like you said a moment ago, you got to put the pawns in the front. Yep. Right. Out the Pit said it the other day on his channel as well. He has said something about chess. You know, what's the game of life? And I said it's chess. We agreed. It's chess. Right. The bad thing about that whole scenario is this: many of us continue to be blind, and as we continue to be blind and not put a stop to the as I call it, the rhetoric of the mistreatment amongst your own people, you're still going to continue to be taken advantage of.
Yep.
And I don't know how long it's going to take for people to start realizing. You and I are sitting on these channels and we're talking about from A to Z. Right. We mostly talk about politics. Most talk about finances. Why? Because finances and politics play hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
Exactly. So we trying to expose people to understand what's happening because we care about the people. Right. And the more we care about the people, hopefully it'll start to sink in and they'll start asking questions or start understanding what we're talking about or start realizing that your opinion, my opinion, the way we see things is actually something of validity versus
Yes.
what this, because
It goes
even
back
like,
to when I think it was actually Out the Pit, and one of the other lives we was on, and we were talking about Out the Pit and how he has his respect for experience, and then you brought up KRS-One and his statement about
right,
listening to the older and the older listening to the younger.
right,
My thing is just that when you are our lives are basically experience, and I always live by the rule of a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. That plays a part in how I move. In the
right,
United States of America, there is a playbook, and you can learn the playbook, or you can be a victim to the playbook.
true,
Now, when I talk about politics, some of the time when I talk about politics, it's not so much to get on, well, a lot of times to get on the Democratic Party. But the other reason why I talk about politics and economic is because it affects what you do so much. And I always tell people, my statement is that the stock market is one of my biggest educators,
right,
because it tells me how things are moving. Here's
right,
my point to that, is that when I was talking before about where I'm investing at, and I listened to what the politicians say, and in this case, it will be Trump and then some of the other stuff and where they're going to move at, right? And they keep talking about this AI, this AI, this AI, this AI. So I bought chip stocks. Everything that makes these computer chips, I start buying my money into it. Why? Because I see what they're saying. I'm going to put my money in the path of that.
right.
If they start talking about drill, baby, drill, all right. So yeah, it might not. That means that the gas prices go down, people are going to start traveling more. This is just my opinion. People are going to start traveling more, meaning that the gas is going to go down. It's going to free up more money. They're going to go spend more, and they're going to travel more. They're going to take vacations. They're going to take everything. And this is the reason why I was directing my live into why I make the moves that I make financially. All right, so I have stock in all of the gas companies, probably all across the board. But then I said, well, there is a real estate investment trust that I said, okay, I'm going to start feeding some money here. Why? Because it's in the field of hospitality. Hospitality means hotels, like what you were talking about, and things like that, because I know at some point people are going to start traveling. Now, if you go over to California right now, California has been going through hell for the last, 2 years?
Yeah.
They had the wildfires, destruction.
Right.
Now we got all this tearing up, destruction.
Right.
And when I say somebody right now is licking their lips, they're licking their job so bad. They like, woo, daddy, I'm about to make. And listen, what I'm trying to tell you is that people have to understand that we live in a capitalism society. Somebody is looking to capitalize on all this craziness. I don't know who, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had that money, I would be right there at the edge. I ain't going in California because I don't want no parts of that, but I would definitely send my money there.
Well, to piggyback off what you said, let's not forget what happened in Hawaii.
Right? Exactly.
Let's not forget what happened in Hawaii. I mean,
gotta give them people credit though. They wasn't letting that. You seen all them billionaires. They were trying to go down there. And them people said, no, we ain't doing that.
That's right.
We know what y'all trying to do. We done seen this before. We not letting that happen.
That's right. Because why? Because the billionaires were going in there buying it for pennies. Pennies. And we all know how people, we want to go Hawaii. I want to go Hawaii. I want to go Hawaii. For what? I can tell you like this. Even in my own home country, I could tell you like this. In my own home country, in the Dominican Republic,
right,
there is over $3 billion going into one section of the Dominican Republic. $3 billion a year. A year. Okay, I did the research on this already.
Mm-hmm.
$3 billion a year in the Dominican Republic, only on the tourism side. Yet you go a mile away from one of the main tourist attractions, and you stand at the riverbank and you will see trash bags at least 7 feet high floating down the river. because there's cities that will not allow any trash receptacles to go in to collect the trash. So the people drive to the river and dump the trash in the river. Right?
Weird.
Now, when you think about $3 billion a year going into one part, where's the rest of that money going? Right?
Probably
Now, the missus tells me, definitely politicians' pockets. The wife just said to me that it also happened in Brazil. And I believe it. I believe that any place where there's tourism at, the money's going to go there, and a lot of money goes there, but the majority of the money does not go to the people. Now, to piggyback off of that, I could tell you what's happening here in South Carolina. Myrtle Beach, there are people, business owners screaming that they're not able to keep up their businesses now because the tourism dropped. Now, nobody knows why the tourism dropped. I could give you my opinion. I could give you what I think it is. But tourism has dropped drastically in Myrtle Beach.
I'm assuming that ain't nobody got no money. You know, I usually base it off when I go into the restaurants, right? I usually I look at the economy and stuff like that, but I usually look at when I'm out and about, right? And I usually look at the restaurants, like if I see a popular restaurant on a Friday and there's seating everywhere and there's no wait, that tells me people is not spending, because I know how people are in the restaurants. Usually in the popular area, they usually pack. They usually 45-minute wait, hour wait, and I haven't seen that in a long time. Like everywhere I've ever go to sit down, I go to sit down, and there's people that I ain't waiting. I haven't waited in a restaurant in the last 4 years. In almost 4 years, I have yet to go sit down in a restaurant where I had to wait. Now, you know, even in the city of Philadelphia, if you go to any one of these popular places outside Philly, Northeast Philly, all these places is always packed, especially on a Friday and a Saturday.
I'm gonna pick 4th Street.
Yes, and and it never seems to amaze me that all of a sudden. But my thing, and so for these tourists, these places that has like hotels and people coming to tour stuff, financially, this is where I tell people they'll understand how gangster the government is.
Oof.
All right, so here's the point. And I tried to explain this to my children before it happened. When all of this started happening, the Biden administration was doing all the spending, like spend. And I said to people that I know, I said, let me tell you something. Y'all don't know what's coming. I said, you better hold on to whatever you have as much as possible. Don't go out there, spend crazy. I said, because the government is getting ready to drain this system, and they're going to drain it hard. I said, everything is going to get hard. And I said, the reason why it's going to get hard, because whenever you see government overspending, there's going to be a back part of that. It's going to be worse than the part that they spend. I said, so I'm telling you now, it's going to come, and it's going to come hard. So what ended up happening is they didn't listen. People out here spend. Economy started going bad. The feds jumped in and said, "Oh, we got to drain the system." So we go in. The feds go in and they start raising the interest rates. This is where the interest rates come into play at. All right, we got to stop these banks from just giving out money for anything. So they raise the interest rates. Now can't nobody afford to buy a house because the interest rate's too high. Now nobody can't afford to buy a car because the interest rate's too high. It ain't that the car dealers can't sell them. It's just that if they write the loans based off the income that people have, it's too lopsided. They can't afford it. It's too much. So the people are saying, well, I can't afford the car because the payments are too high, because the interest rates are so high. So what happens is these car dealerships and all of these people that usually loan a house and stuff, no one's going to be able to finance this stuff because the interest rates are drastically up. So what ends up happening is, and I tried to explain to them, I said, and until they get control of this, these feds, not the government, the president, the Federal Reserve. When they get control of this is the only tool that they really have to control pricing. So what they did was, what happened to the car dealerships? They sitting on cars. They have to eventually do what? Bring the prices down in order to fit into the ability for them to loan the money out. Meaning they had to make the prices low for the average person to be able to afford it. So they're going to have to cut the prices and the dealerships are going to have to take a loss on the money that they were trying to charge for. Why? Because I can't loan you the car for $60,000 because you don't make enough to get this loan. So I'm going to have to bring the car price down because the interest rates are setting the prices too high in order to get the price down enough where you can afford that actual loan. Now, that money that they wasted in the economy get washed out in the product like that where you don't even see it no more. And they just drain the system.
I think you can actually see it.
See it.
I think you can actually see it. And I'll explain why real quick. There's a vehicle that I drove back in the day. It's called a Jeep Wagoneer. Maybe you drove one as well. It's a Jeep Wagoneer. Jeep made that same vehicle maybe 5, maybe 6 years ago. They brought it back into production. Okay. That vehicle was listed at $90,000, right? When they made it. The worst part is that they found that the wheels would fall off with a simple car crash. What I mean by a simple car crash is a 45-mile-an-hour crash. The wheels will pop clear off. That's a reflection of how bad the building of the vehicle is, yet they're charging an arm and a leg for the vehicle. I'll give you another one. Back in 2003, I was a sucker. This goes back to how when we was young, we was dumb. In 2002, matter of fact, General Motors came out with this wonderful vehicle called the Hummer, right? They copied
you bought a Hummer?
Huh?
You bought a Hummer?
Hell yeah! I should, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what caused me to buy the Hummer. Right? I kid you not. This is a funny ass story.
He went in the dealership and was like,
I was sitting at home and I saw the commercial of the Hummer running around on the moon, doing dips and jumps and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember that commercial.
Right. So what I did, I went a week later to the dealership that was down the road from me because I knew the owner of the dealership, and had asked him. I said, "What's the story with these Hummers?" He said, "Jay, give me a couple of minutes. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back and tell you." I said, "Okay." As I'm sitting in the dealership waiting, the truck pulls up with a whole bunch of cars, and on the very top was a Hummer. And he came back in. I said, Jimmy, is that the Hummer? Is that the Hummer that they put on the TV? He goes, yeah. I said, that is one beautiful, badass truck. He looked at me and says, Jay, you got a Denali. Now, I had a Denali. I had the GMC Denali.
Okay, they nice. Right?
They is beautiful. I had all toys and bells and whistles on that bad boy. But I wanted the Hummer. So I turned around and said, Jimmy, what do I got to give you with my Denali for that Hummer? He said, Jay, don't do that. I said, don't tell me what I could do. Don't tell me what I could do. I can do it.
Sold by the moon. He thought he was going to take that truck to the moon.
I kid you not. He said, Jay, don't do it. I said, Jimmy, just give it to me. Come on now. He said, all right, Jay, it's going to cost you this plus your Denali.
I'm trying to go to the moon.
Boy, he took that damn truck down. It took him 2 hours to put that joker together because they got a vacuum cleaning up all that stuff. I was driving around because I was the only one with it. Right? I had the only one. So that's another reason why I wanted it. Because like I said, I was dumb when I was young. I wanted it. I wanted to be the only one with it anywhere within 1,000 miles. And I had it. And I'm driving around fancy, all good, calm, cool, collective. Even when I was working at then, they're like, yo, you got this. Oh, you bad boy. Oh, I see you.
All right, so what Hummer did you have?
I had the H2.
Oh,
the H2.
Okay.
When it first came out, because it came out in 2002.
The one that was on the one that's on the Tahoe axle.
See, why'd you have to mess up my dream?
Hey Jay, I understand, man. I'm a man, bro. I understand. I don't care. I understand.
Let me tell you how embarrassing this was. Now, mind you, Jimmy owned the GMC dealership, and he told me don't get it. But my dumb ass wanted it. Hummer calls me up and tells me I need to go to the Hummer dealer to get it checked out, make sure everything is all right, because it was the only one that was sold in my area. So I went to the Hummer dealership. They said, okay, listen, we need for you to prepay your oil changes because no one's going to have the oil caps and all this other stuff for your vehicle. So I felt, I said, wait a minute now. Woo!
Now he's special.
I'm living like the Joneses. I said, I got something nobody else got. No problem. Here you go. I thought I was at a stripper club. Just put up the money, right? I get back. Jimmy calls me up about a week later. Says, "Yo, Jay, how you like the truck?" I said, "Man, I went to the Hummer dealership. And they told me a whole bunch of stuff. I got to tell you, man, I didn't know it was gonna cost me over $700 for an oil change." He said, "What?" He said, "Get your ass over here to the dealership right now." I said, "Why?" He said, "Get over here." I goes over there. He said, "Listen, Jay, I told you from the beginning, don't get rid of your Denali, but you wanted what you wanted. Watch what I'm gonna show you." He put that damn thing up in there. He still had my Denali, stuck it up, and that's when I found out what you said. It was on the Tahoe frame. I was so angry. He said the motor, look at the motor, it's the same exact motor, the 4200. The transmission, a 646. The oil change is exactly the same. The filter is exactly the same. The transmission fluid, the actual same. Everything was exactly the same. The only difference was that it had a square top and the big ass wheels on it.
Wow.
You know how angry I was? I was so angry because I got
He tried
rid of
to
my
warn you.
phone. He did. But you know, I was stupid. I was look, I'm like a kid. Ain't nobody else got one. So I wanted it. Okay? So I was so angry. For a whole year, I was angry when I had this thing. Even to the worst part was this. It didn't snow for one full year.
He never got that moon ride.
I never got the moon ride.
Oh man, I feel for you, bro. Hey man, listen, we all been suckered into stuff.
I was so embarrassed. And to make matters worse, I took the Denali, I took the Hummer back, right? And I asked him, I said, "How can I get him a Denali?" He said, "I ain't giving you a Denali now." He said, "You're asked out. You gonna have to pay me twice." I was like, I was so angry. Because I couldn't even do anything with it. I couldn't. It had less space on the inside. Of course, it was higher because of the tires. But I got suckered, you know. I bring this back to the story because of how we people,
yes,
we go by what we see and we buy based off of what we see. We don't really do the research sometimes.
No,
you know. And you and I, since we've been communicating so much, I've done a lot of research, and the things I find within politics, within the stock market, within business that we talk about, there's so many things that I'm finding out now that it's so much information that there's times that I do like the old man thing because it's just so much information. It just bogs my brain, and I just fall asleep. I get overpowered. I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a lot. When I get when it goes back to what I was saying about out the pit about learning from experience or someone else's experience, and when you started talking about purchasing the car, years ago, and this is why I'm glad I you see Donald. So I go to buy first time I ever I was getting ready to purchase a vehicle, and a friend of mine, before I went and bought this vehicle, he used to work at a car. He used to sell cars. This is years ago. He used to sell cars, and he put me on. He gave me some information that I did not know.
Right.
And he said to me, he said, "Well, when you get ready to go buy that car, he said you got to watch how they slide you this paperwork." And I said, what you mean by that? He said, are you going to finance the car? I said, well, if I'm probably going to likely have to finance. He said, let me explain something to you. He said, this is a trick. A lot of dealerships, no. A lot of people that sell cars do, and you don't realize what they're doing.
Right.
He said, when you go to sign paperwork, and let's say you get financed, and it doesn't happen with all the companies, but a lot of them, some of them do. He said, there'll be two separate paperwork. They'll have what the bank interest approve you for.
Right.
And then they'll have the other paperwork from the dealership.
Right.
Which is the underwriter who writes out,
right.
who does the loan.
Right.
He said, by law, they can actually tack on 3% on top of whatever the bank approved you for.
Right.
And I said, I didn't know that. He said, yeah. He said, by law, they can do that. He said, but what they do, they don't tell you. They slip you their paperwork first and make you sign that first because they know the average person's not going to read. He said, so you'll sign up on that loan, and then they'll slip you the bank's information next and let you sign that second.
Right.
And he said, and therefore, he said, now you agreed to pay the underwriter 3% every time you make your car payment.
Right.
And I said, oh, I didn't know that. He said, well, keep that in mind when you go to buy you a car. He said, now in my mind, I'm like, do I really want to sit down and argue with somebody and go through all that, whatever case may be? This is my mind going into a different direction. And I said, okay, no problem. I said, so I figured out how I could beat that. And this is where someone telling you and giving you some information before you go make a silly mistake like that. So I go to buy a new car. And of course, you know, they run you, huh?
Don't do what I did.
So I go to buy a new car, and this is why I appreciate what he told me. And I go, and of course, they're going to run your credit or whatever case may be. And the guy was like, okay, we had to run your credit. And then at the time, and I still do, but my credit was very good at the time, extremely good. So it was like, okay. All right, well, you got an option. They said you can even take the low interest rates, or you can take the discount and the rebates.
Right.
So I said, well, what is the discount and the rebate? At the time, that car was about, I think it was about $22,000.
Okay.
If I took the discounts and the rebates, it brought the car down to about 17 grand. In that ballpark.
Okay.
But I still would have had to pay the higher interest rate on the loan.
Right.
So I'm like, give me the discounts and the rebates. So he was like, you sure you don't want the low interest rate? I'm like, no, I don't. I want the discounts and the rebates. Right. And because in my mind, I'm thinking about what the guy told me. So I signed the paperwork. I didn't even try to figure out what he was doing. So I was trying, I didn't get into, no.
We need 2 more plugins.
So I go into, so what I ended up doing after the fact, I agreed, I took the loan, whatever case may be. I took the discounts and the rebates as opposed to the lower interest rate. Because I already knew that I can get the low interest rate. All I had to do was make my first 2 payments, go to my credit union where I did my banking at, and I can match that interest rate that they was offering at the low interest rate anyway.
Right.
So after I got that loan for the car, I took all the discounts and the rebates. Then I went, made my first payment, went to my credit union, refinanced the loan. So now I got the discounts and the rebates, and I got the low interest rate. I got both.
Right.
Now, I didn't care about that 3% interest rate that they wrote, because once I rewrote the loan with my bank, it took them out the equation.
Right, yeah.
Right, so that was and was like, okay, but if he wouldn't have told me what he told me, I wouldn't have thought no further beyond that.
Right.
So where I ended up getting the car for 17 grand. I got
a low interest rate.
Instead of the low interest rate, I took the discounts and the rebates, because with the discounts and the rebates, that also came with a bumper to bumper warranty.
Right.
6 years, 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper warranty, no deductible. That means anything went wrong with that car for 6 years, up to 100,000 miles, I didn't take a dime out of my pocket other than scheduled maintenance.
Right.
So it was worth for me to take that package than the interest rates. I already knew in the back of my head I was going to go to the credit union and refinance it anyway, so I still got all that anyway.
Right.
But this is where experience come in, or like when you go to do stuff.
Right.
When you start talking about the Hummer, I'm like, only reason why I knew about the Hummer is because I had another buddy that owned one.
Okay.
And he told me the story about similar story to you about
right.
when he found out that it was on the Tahoe
On the
frame and
Tahoe
all
frame,
the other
yeah.
stuff. And he was like, man, he said, I was pissed. And then he said, need I remind you, his front wheel fell off.
Ooh, damn.
And he had it for like a year and a half, and all of a sudden, he said he had an issue. He hit a bump or something, and then one wheel just popped out, broke, axle just snapped. But then I said to myself, I said, maybe it's because there's so much weight on that axle that should not have that much weight.
No, that was a bad. That had to be a bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bad model. It had to be a bad model. It really did. Probably. It had to be a bad model because it makes no sense. Because listen, I literally, real quick. Somebody was stuck on a highway on a BQE. I remember this story like it was yesterday. They was on the BQE and it was 2:00 in the morning on the BQE. That's the Brooklyn Queens Expressway over in New York. The guy was like, look here now. You got that big ass truck. I need you to get me out of here. I said, look, I ain't got nothing to pull you with. So I don't know how I'm going to get you out. He says, push me. I said, bro, I don't want to push you. This truck is designed to go over things. He's like, nah, man, I don't care. Push me. Okay. I warned him. He said, push. I said, don't brake until you see me flash my lights. What he did? We started pushing him. Everything was fine. And I told him, don't brake unless I flash my lights. He saw another car. He braked or broke. He really broke. The truck, Muhammad just went right on top of that thing like it was a tank, right over it, crushed, brought the tail end down, broke the back mirror, and crushed the hood right above the passenger window on the right side of the back of the car. I gets out, and he looked at me and said, oh, you done messed up. I said, I didn't. You did. I told you, don't break. Nobody's going to come at you when they see me. Man, this guy, ever since then, I could never understand why people don't listen. I really don't. And just to come back to our story about why all this is important, is I bought my Hummer straight up. I didn't finance it, didn't lease it. I bought it straight out.
Okay,
right?
big baller.
Like I said, I've done a lot of stupid things when I was young. Okay. Hence the reason why I'm probably paying for it now. Right? Because of my dumb mistakes. So back then it was more of a I want it, I got the money, I'm gonna do it. Now, if I would have had all that money back then, I probably would be in a better state. I'm not saying that I'm in a bad state, but I could probably be in a better state, right? So when we talk about trying to empower the people, because this is where all our stories are coming back to what I believe is us, you and I,
Right.
Ron's opinion, Jay's Fat Chats for the show. We believe in empowering the people, right? From something silly to something very important,
right?
It's all about empowering and planting that seed.
Right.
How we provide the information, whether it be serious, whether it be funny, it's still planting the seed.
Right.
So for all those people who are sitting here listening to us, please share our channels so that other people can enjoy the humor that we provide, and of course, seriousness,
a little bit of knowledge,
because when you have two people like ourselves, two people of age,
right,
we have done a lot of things in our time, and we share a lot of ideas, and very rarely you come across two people who sit and know exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
Which comes back to what I always say, birds of a feather flock together. I'm sure, Ron, you cannot sit with a person that has no clue about stocks, doesn't want to be self-sufficient, doesn't want to invest. You're not going to sit 2 hours with that person.
I can tell you right now, anybody know me? I'm gonna tell you what happened, and this is the truth. This is about as true as I can be about it. If I'm at an event, doesn't matter where I'm at. Let's say I'm at an event, whatever. I honestly spend very little time talking to adults. If I'm near an event and there's younger kids there, that's usually where I'm at. I'm usually instilling it in them. We might be playing around, joking or whatever, like my niece and nephews or stuff like that. Like, just make an experience for them. But I also sit down and I try to educate them. Because I found that a lot of times, us as adults, sometimes we don't really want to hear what somebody else had to say when it comes to stuff like this. And so if I'm in a room with somebody that's talking like that, yeah, we can talk for hours and I'll never get bored because we're talking something that's of substance.
Right.
But if I'm in the room, if me and you, even if it's not even stocks, if it's real estate, some way of bettering yourself financially, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all ears. I'm all in. But if it's some stupid conversation that's meaningless, I mean, we can laugh and joke in between it, but it has to be, in most cases, it has to be something of substance. Because at the end of the time, I'm gonna tune out. I'm just gonna zone out of it, and I'm gonna say if I want to be a child, I'm gonna go joke around and play around with the kids and get kid knowledge because I don't want to deal with this because my brain just don't. I don't have a lot of pay. The kids got a reason for the way they are. Adults, it just so I'm very short with that type of stuff. And then but if someone starts talking something meaningful, and I'm not saying we can't throw all that in it because I'm not an always serious person by any means. I joke a lot, extremely a lot.
You see me,
right? So, but it's just that you can have fun, enjoy yourself, make jokes, and spread knowledge at the same time. But
that's what's important. I remember when I was a kid growing up. I used to do the same thing. People used to say, "Why do you keep hanging around the old people?" Like Donald said a moment ago, we're playing dominoes. It'll probably be a better show. I used to be 14, sitting down playing dominoes with people with guys that were in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. I was the one that would sit down with the old man on the porch while he's chewing on a straw, just listening to what he had to say. And I'm listening, and I was listening. I listened. And that's the big thing about this generation now. This is why I give a lot of praise to Out the Pit, and just listening because I listened to his podcasts, his episodes that he has up there.
Yeah,
and it's
he's ahead of his time.
Absolutely. He's fine. Yes. Yeah. He's like that person with the old soul.
Yeah,
he got a young body, but he got an old soul.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what made it so enriching to me to listen to how he spoke, what he spoke of, right? And I'm like, man, this guy, if anybody's in his age and hanging around him, they're doing a disservice to him. He needs to get rid of that circle fast. He's too advanced for that circle.
Yeah, he probably don't spend a whole lot. He probably like us and don't have a whole lot of friends.
Listen here now. I can't count how many friends I got on my fingers. You heard what I said, right? I can't count how many friends I got on my fingers. Not my hand, my fingers.
Yeah.
I just, because, either it's because people don't think like I think, or I'm just stuck in my old ways. I mean, who knows what it is? The wife tells me I'm difficult to understand sometimes because I don't do things the way other people do. There's a reason for that. I don't believe in the nonsense that they're pushing. I don't need to be around it. I don't like it. You know, and then of course, if I can smell that you're throwing some BS at me, I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time talking.
Yeah.
Look. I'm gonna tell you like this. Just the other day, you was there. Ron, you was there. And I'm gonna tell you like this. You was there. You were there at the live when we had the pop-up. There was a guy that pulled up. I gotta talk about this because this was like really this was like really funny to me. I can tell you right now, the guy's name was Mr. Blue. That was his last name, Blue.
Okay.
BLUE. That was his last name. The man stood in front of me for 15 minutes, in front of me and the missus, for 15 minutes. He could not remember my name.
Mr. Blue, you talking about Mr. Blue, the basketball player?
Yes. See, you were there.
Yeah, me and Albert Pitt was having the ball with him.
The one that he said that when he was young, he jumped over the front of a Lincoln Town Car, 1970 Lincoln Town Car. Right? Now, I couldn't understand. You can remember Wilt Chamberlain's name. You can remember that you tried to jump over the front of a Lincoln Town Car.
Right.
But you can't remember the 10th letter of the alphabet?
Right.
Come on now. You just wasn't listening. He remembered my dog's name.
Right.
He said, I remember Chamberlain name because Chamberlain jumped at him when he came out the car.
Yeah, because I was watching.
No, it's because I wasn't interested enough. So I zoned him out.
And I was watching. I'm like, he need to dribble some of them dollars on them products.
You know,
out the pit was like, yeah, I would love to see that.
You know, the man gave me his testimony. I couldn't stop him giving his testimony.
Right.
At the end of the day, you know, we're in a state where you gotta be homely to people. Because that's what it's all about. We're in a state that everybody likes to talk to each other, to get to know each other, feel each other out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come with a whole lot of bullshit,
right,
I gotta zone you out. I mean, I'm like, and you'll see it in my face.
Listen, I was cracking up laughing. I was reading all the body language in there. I was like, man, do that man not know? First of all, it's hot. I'm like, he about to catch it. Jay probably gonna say, look, listen, bro, you're gonna need Jesus twice this time, bro, because I'm about to swing on this out here. It's nothing personal, but I'm trying to make some money. And I saw that top to bottom when the dog came out. I ain't never seen nobody freeze so fast. He was like, his soul ran back in the vehicle. Left his body standing right there. His soul was like, you on your own, bro. That's a big dog.
Oh my God,
man. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, y'all got me in here. I'm hot as I don't know what. I'm sweating because I'm laughing so hard. Oh my goodness.
No, nephew, I sure did. I was trying to be polite.
Jay out there ready to lay hands. But the funnier part to me was the guy with the mask. Jay was not having it. He's like, no, I need you to take that mask off. Jay, like, before we do anything, I need you to take that mask down, bro. Well, no, I'll take the mask down. Oh, man. My chest hurt.
Look at that. You don't walk up on people, especially in the South. You don't walk up on people with a mask on at 85 degrees. What the hell wrong with you? We got a no stand your ground law here. Look here now. Bro. I'm gonna tell you the same way I told this young man. Look here now. You taking that mask down there, boy. We ain't gonna have no conversations until that mask come down. Then he turns up. Oh, because of the dog? I said no, because I need to see your face.
I want to know what you up to, buddy. You walk up here with a mask on.
Ron, it was 88 degrees outside with 97% humidity. It got 101 outside. He walking up with a mask on.
First of all, we from the hood. We know what that look.
Yes,
we know that look.
Yes, and you coming up to my property.
That
that's my land. All right, that's our land. The missus and I, that's our land. You walking up to our property. There's a 21-foot rule. You walking up on you
should have took that thing down long before you got there. He's supposed to do that across you like.
Yes, I seen him. I seen him walking towards us. I'm like, I know this man ain't gonna be stupid enough. I know he ain't stupid. Sure enough, I think that's the reason why he came back and purchased, because he wanted to make up for that stupid shit.
Exactly. He's like, I'm sorry. Let me buy something.
He said, I gotta show these people I care. I cares about my life. I mean, it's only right. But damn real, it's only right. How do you walk up in the South? Come on now. That's like walking to somebody's house. You don't know who they is. You walk to somebody's house, you're gonna get plugged.
Exactly. First of all, we out here selling stuff. You see money. Yes. You walk up with a mask on. I'd have been like, dog, get him. I ain't asking no more questions. You walk up here with no mask on. I ain't trying to figure out what you're trying to do. Your face said it all. You had a mask on. Like, why you sick the dog on? You had a mask on. What do you want me to do? Bite him.
And it's bad enough. It's bad enough our dog don't like nobody crossing that gun line. That dog already has a sense of where 21 feet is at.
Right.
He jumps up. You jumping up. You saw what he did to Blue when Blue came out the car.
Right.
That was 21 feet. That's what the dog does. You come too close, I'm gonna let you know. Man, when he, at first I felt bad, but then again I said, no, I ain't taking this chance. No, I don't know you. I don't know you. You don't know me. And you got to be respectable. It's all about respect. You don't go into somebody's house with a mask on, not expect nothing to go wrong.
You just told him something. Don't do that.
But he's supposed to know better.
You was nice enough that he did not get what he probably should have got. Because he might listen, I might be the next person with a stand out there. And then he walk out with a mask. Like, bro. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
She wasn't thinking. He wasn't thinking.
He better be glad you wasn't quick. He better be glad you wasn't Quick Draw McGraw.
Man, look here now. I couldn't understand. And then, of course, when he came back, he had a long conversation. Like, he told me everything about it. And I was like, look here, Ro, you should know better.
He came back like a slave. I'm sorry. Take my money. I mean, we laughing about it now, but oh my goodness, man.
We gotta have fun about it because that's at the end of the day,
I know.
It's an experience, right? And to have an experience like that is very well needed because people could understand what it's really all about.
Right.
I mean, really, it's not the fact of where you come from, like you and I, we youngins that did a lot of dirt when we was young, when we was young. We got in trouble, we seen trouble.
Yep.
We lived in cities that was all about trouble.
Hey, Jay, I'm gonna tell you something. And we were talking about this stuff a while back on one of the lives, but I didn't be totally honest. And matter of fact, it was when me, you, and Leah was talking, and we were talking about being arrested. And I was saying that I never went to jail.
Right.
All right. I had to, when I got up, I said, man, I didn't really tell the truth. All right. So as a teenager, I was arrested 3 times.
Well, I expected that. You probably just didn't want to put it out there.
You know how old I was the first time I was arrested?
12?
You was close. 11.
Damn. Damn. What who candy pop did you steal?
All right. See, the hustle in me started out young. All right. This is what happened. Listen, there's a roofing company where I grew up at, right? It was a roofing company. And at nighttime, we would climb over there and steal the roofing material and the roofing material and lumber for contractors.
Right.
And then we would store it on the train tracks and they would buy it off of us.
Right.
So that's what we was doing. But we forgot that they installed a silent alarm on the roof, because that's how we was getting in. So one of my buddies stepped on that little spongy thing that they had running across the roof. He stepped on it and it triggered it. And next thing you know, the boys in blue showed up. They were everywhere. Damn. I'm going to tell you how dumb my behind is. I tried to get away on the forklift.
That damn machine slower than your... You should be ashamed of yourself. You should have kept that secret to yourself.
Instead of me running, I jumped on the forklift. My logic was I'm gonna run the forklift through the gate, but it would just to get out
and I
fast.
bet back there say, Ronald, how dare you do something so silly on a forklift?
First of all, honestly, the one cop was like, I'm impressed the fact you know how to operate as a kid. But yeah, that was the first time I was actually arrested.
Man,
that was the first time I was actually arrested. You know, they threw me. Now back then they used to have meat wagon. See, the youngins don't know about the meat wagon or the paddy wagon. We called it the paddy wagon in Philly, but it was the meat wagon. And that's where they threw all the meat at.
It was the meat wagon when I grew up.
Right. So they was around because there was quite a few of us, and they needed space for all of us, and they threw us in the back of the paddy wagon. And they was like, that was the first time I was arrested. The second time I was arrested, because we were throwing rocks at cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how stupid we were.
Really?
And let me tell you something. My buddy, it was a cop car coming by, and he had his arm hanging out the window. My buddy threw the brick, and it hits the cop car in the arm. The cop driver in the arm, he had his arm hanging. Oh, man, they would chase. We didn't get caught. But, man, when I say they were chasing us, thank God we knew them train tracks well. Because we would have got caught. We would have been done for. There used to be this big hill that I would slide down. And when I say this hill was high, but it was like a dirt hill, but it was very, very steep.
Right.
And I would slide down it, but it had this sharp curve. But if you didn't lay back enough, there was a big tree branch that would whack your head.
Right.
So when he was chasing me, because it went from one train track to a lower train track, I jumps down that's my getaway run. I go sliding down that thing, man, go around that side, and he must have thought it was okay. He came behind me and tore his head up. I said at that point, they probably gonna kill us. Because all I heard was like, oh! And then I seen him coming down the hill. I'm running. I look back, he got blood running down the top. I was like, man, they gonna kill us. I was so scared.
Man.
I was so scared. I'm about to have a heart attack at 13.
You talk about causing trouble at your young age. Look at now. In the Boogie Down Bronx, if anybody knows about the Boogie Down in the early 70s, it was nothing but gangs left and right. I was 105 pounds at the age of 12, walking around with Dirty Harry in my waist.
Uh-oh.
Now, the damn thing weighed almost as much as I did. The 8-inch barrel. Okay?
Ooh.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, you had the long nose. Chrome?
Yeah, man. Smith & Wesson. Yes. Long nose. 8-inch. Yes. Big-ass bullets. Yes. Heavy as a mother summer come. I couldn't even hold it up. It was just for show.
I know what you're talking about. My brother used to have one.
Look here. As a youngin' like that, There ain't no way I'm taking that out in time. But I thought I was a badass until that undercover cop came up on top of me.
Oh wow.
It was over. It was over. It was over. You talk about an ass whipping, but I didn't care. I didn't care because I wanted to make sure one of the gangs back then invited me to be part of them. I could look where I lived at. There were 3 gangs: one to the left, one to the right, and one behind me. I kid you not.
Wow.
They had the Chingalings. They had the Chingaling gang, which is a motorcycle gang, right behind me, where I lived at. To the left of me, it was Suicide Nation, which was another gang. To the left of me,
right. Oh, wow.
To the right of me was another gang. Damn, I don't remember them. They're red and black vests. Well, it was another crazy gang, another crazy group of dudes. I turned around and said, one of them's gonna have to take me in because I got to be part of something. That's when I thought I had to be part of something. How wrong I was then too. You learn real fast how you're not supposed to be part of something.
Right. Yeah.
Because when you see things, man. And the worst part of this, Ron, as I got older, I still had that same mentality. I had to be part of something. Until I realized being part of something is going to get you in trouble.
Yep. Yeah.
I kid you not.
I think my parents. I really believe my parents was hoping I never came back home because they was just like, you know, the first time I seen somebody get murked, I was 9 years old.
Ooh, we're in the same boat.
I was in Hunting Park, which is not too far from me. That's when back then when all the DJs used to battle.
Okay.
All right, and it was I get the one guy was a Skunk and Funk and a couple of other big, you know, in our era, big time DJs or whatever, and they were out there battling or whatever case may be, man. There was a lot of people out there, and I seen this guy just kind of creeping through the like this, walking through the crowd looking for somebody. I turned around and looked and stabbed the guy. Like, everybody start running off. Next thing you know, gunfire starts. And I'm like, I'm even 9 or 10 years old. First of all, I shouldn't even have been there. I shouldn't even have been there. Yeah. But what happened was, in that same park, they used to have a swimming pool. And you know what it is at night at the swimming pool, everybody over the gate.
Wait, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
So you know how that went. And 9 years old trying to hang out with the OGs. No good well, I shouldn't even be there. No good well, I shouldn't be there. And my man, my brother, not my oldest brother, but my next to the oldest brother, man, he started checking me, man, like, no, nah. Mm-mm. Me not remind you, he was out there, but he checked me from being out. Like, he was the one that was like, you're not doing that. No, that's not you. You're not going to do this and that. And at some point, you know what I mean? I got older and I wised up a little bit. I wised up young. I ain't going to lie. I wised up probably at the early ages of, before I turned 18, I started wising up. I mean, don't get me wrong. God has a lot to do with that. But I started somewhat changing before then, but then I know where I was supposed to be going.
Right.
Well,
I know about night pools. Okay. The first time I seen somebody get murked, I was sitting on my fire escape. I believe I was 8. I believe I was 8 years old. I was sitting on the fire escape.
Definitely the queen. I was saying she was saying she can't wait till we get on Out the Piss podcast. We can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be fire. Y'all better look here now. Y'all better get some Kool-Aid, some wine, some chips, a whole lot of tissue paper, because there's gonna be some crime segments in there.
Oh yeah.
And get your bellies ready because there's gonna be some laughter as well.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now. Listen, Ron, I said it once, I've said it before, and I'm just gonna sound like a dummy, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Man, we got a whole lot of things in common, brother.
Yeah, I know. That goes to show you the hood ain't that much different from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Nah, man, nah, it ain't. It really ain't.
Yeah.
Because look here now, I lived on 174th Street and Park Avenue.
Okay.
In the Bronx as a kid growing up, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you the other story because that one's way too sentimental. I'm literally going to break out in tears. But the first attempt, shall I say, of taking somebody's life was when I was 6 years old.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And I seen it. Right. When I seen somebody get murked, I was 9 years old. I was 8 years old, rather. My bad.
Wow.
I was 8 years old. I was sitting on my fire escape, and on Park Avenue in the Bronx, there's a railroad track that's used by the Metro North on Park Avenue. Back
So you
then,
live by train tracks like me.
This one did you not hear when I turned around and said, "Damn it, we got so many goddamn things in common"? Did you not hear when I said
I
that?
come out my mother's house. I can walk literally 50 feet and I'm at a train. I'm on the train tracks.
Look here, I'll walk out the building and walk 10 feet or even 15 feet because it was a roadway. It was it's a two-way street. Okay. One side is a northbound side, then the six track lines, and then the southbound side.
Wow.
That's where I lived at. Okay. And I was sitting on the fire escape this one night. It was in the middle of the summer. The fences back then for the railroad tracks weren't high. They were maybe 3 feet, 4 feet, something like that. It wasn't high because they weren't expecting they weren't really expecting anything to happen like that. I seen a group of guys walk up to this dude, pick the dude up, and launched him like a bag of garbage right onto the railroad tracks. Back then, the trains were coming by quite often because now it's called the Metro North. So those trains were coming back and forth like they're like wildfires. And there was no train stop there. So it's just a train going. So if you wound up down there, you weren't coming back up. And that was the first time I seen it happen. 8 years old.
Wow.
That I seen somebody get murdered. Now, of course, I'll leave the real touching story for the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I want to see someone turn around and tell me they weren't crying. Because when I tell you that story, I still to this day, if I tell that story, I get choked up.
Yeah, I got one. I mean, I got a few of them, but I got one. It's hard for me to get through it. It's hard.
Listen here. Let me put it like this. It took the wife, my wife now.
Okay.
It took her I'm going to say a year. Matter of fact, no, I'm going to say a year and a half. A year and a half just to get me to accept a traumatic situation in my life. Okay? That even still to this day, if I talk about it, it's not as bad, but it's bad. It really is deep hurt.
Yeah, I can, bro. Okay. I can get it. I get it.
And you know, one of the things that I heard Out the Pits podcast one day when I was listening to it was his experiences of growing up. Okay. The people that was in his life, which are mainly women, made him more what he is now. And I said to him, I had a conversation with him because, of course, we had the privilege, or I was blessed to actually he allowed me in his circle to physically talk to him one-on-one. Even though his wife was there, we was all on speaker, but we was talking. So we pretty much did the same thing. We called each other, right? And I told him, and I'll say it again, I commend him. And I'm honored that he allows me to be part of his life right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because what I heard in his podcast spoke volume, right? And even as he was brought up as he says, mostly women in his life, I had to rest assured to him, do not look at it as being a bad thing because you was brought up by women. Look at it as a great thing because you have now a much more better understanding of what a woman can and possibly go through and approach you with versus not knowing. Because not knowing makes it more difficult.
Yes.
So, you know, I commend him, and right now on your channel, on your page, whatever, I'm going to commend him again, and I'm going to give him a lot of praise. This young man, he is well above the age that he is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And his wife, you know, again, to me, I think I look at it like this. I look at it like this. If a man allows another man to talk to his wife, it shows respect. Because a man should never talk to another woman when the man's wife or other wife,
right.
man, husband, whatever, the partner is not there.
Right.
Right. The fact that he allowed it to happen says that he has respect for me as well as I have respect for both of them. Right. So this is why I commend both of them. Both of them. Yeah, you got to respect that. You got to respect that relationship. And for the both of them to allow me to be part of their life, even though it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it may be, that moment right there shows and speaks volume. So I commend the both of them for allowing me, and I'm honored they allowed me to be part of their life, and of course ongoing. So their podcast is going to be on fire. That podcast is going to be on fire.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it takes everything for me to keep the stuff that I got in the background. Like when I'm like, all right, I gotta hold it, I gotta save it, I gotta save it.
And you a troublemaker. You threw that pool party thing out there, and I was about to come full force with that one. Because man, I got a story about a pool party. Woo! Let me just put let me just give you a little tidbit. You remember back in the day when Puma came out with suede sneakers?
I got a pair.
Stop.
I got a black pair. I got a black pair of Puma. Yep.
Stop.
Black suede Pumas with the gold lettering.
Stop.
I'm not lying.
God, man, look at this OG.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not,
The respect is mutual. The respect is mutual.
It's mutual. Like, and my thing is me and Jay see the same thing. We see the same thing. You know what I mean? We do. And we see the same thing. And when there were the times that I've gotten to watch his podcast, and I'm like, man, this young boy is sharp.
Yeah.
He's sharp. I said he might not know it. He might not even realize what's coming out of his mouth is before his time. But he's sharp. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, because he calling it OG, but I'm sitting there listening, I'm like, bro, you talking better than we talking.
Yes. Especially when he leaned back in that big comfy chair and started talking. I was like, good God. I said, all I'm missing is a damn cup of beer and a nice cigar.
And he taking me to school right now.
I said, oh, shit. I said, what in Sam? Who is this damn baby's freaking parent that actually have this child? They say he's in his 20s. Hell no, he's in his 40s. Talking the way he's talking.
Yeah, man. You got and don't get me wrong, I've ran into people, young guys like that. And I'm very I can be hard sometimes. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I can be hard on people sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But every once in a while, you come across somebody you have a lot of respect for. And I'm gonna say, out the pit is one of those people.
Man, now real quick, back to that pool party thing. My very first night hanging out at a pool party, I had a pair of royal blue suede Pumas with the white lettering and the white Puma on there.
Oh man!
And they stole my sneakers that same night. My very first night, I had to walk home barefooted. And the swimming pool was about a 30-minute walk to my house.
Ouch!
Man, I was angry. And I could not find my way to buy another pair ever again.
Wow, man, that's a hurt piece, man. That's a hurt piece.
Them things were pretty. Man, when I tell you them things were pretty, man, I used to get angry when somebody used to bump into my damn sneakers.
Ah, man. So did you used to get the racer to take off the
No, you didn't. No, you didn't go. I'm gonna have to talk to you like I talked to people back. I'm
You've been
gonna
around
lean
too
in
long,
and I'm gonna try this one more time. I know you did not say that I get that big eraser to clean off my sneakers.
Yes, sir.
God did that. God did that.
You know how we figure it out, bro. We figure it out. Like, man, he stepped on my sneakers, man. Just get an eraser, bro. Just get an eraser. Take it right on out by it.
That's right. Queen, I gotta tell you like this.
You keep that big one in your pocket, the one that had the angles cut on it, that big eraser. You know, they had the little angles cut on it.
Had that 45-degree angle on both sides.
Yeah.
This way you can lean it. This
Keep
way you get in that little crevice. That's right. Because you had to get in that crevice. Because you know the Pumas had little teeth in it in the front. So you had to get in between that little crease. Yes, indeed. Bro. Yes, indeed. Don't play with me.
That's
Don't
funny.
play with me. Don't play with me.
Between that and the shell top Adidas with the big shoestrings, with the folded up socks, make your feet look smaller.
Ron, you don't know nothing about that. Ron, you don't know. Don't be trying. Ron, you just straight funk. You playing the funk, bro. You ain't part of that. You was not part of that life.
I had plenty of pair of New York shoestrings, bro. I know what it is.
You ain't had no New York shoestrings talking like that. You ain't had no New York. Man, please. I had 18 different colors. Red, black, blue, green. Man, don't play with me, man. I had every time I put on. Now we're gonna you know, the biggest jean maker back in the day was Lee Jean.
Lee Jean, yep. Mm-hmm.
I had every color that they made.
Well, I had the New York laces. I have you. See,
every color and every lace to go on my shell Adidas to match them colors.
See, we was broke. So I had older brothers. So I got whatever they couldn't wear no more. So I'll be looking at my brother like, yo, let me doing that. Them gonna be mine one day. But yeah, we going back. The Lee jeans and the girls used to wear the Jordache and the Sassoon. Man, we old, bro.
All right. Hold on. I'm gonna throw this one at you now.
Uh-oh.
You wanted to go. You want the throwback, right? I'm gonna throw this one at you. Let's see if you got this one. The metal skates that you attach to your sneakers.
Oh, bro. The clip-on joints that you tie. Man, you trying to kill somebody.
Had the little screw in the bottom for you to adjust it, so you can make it tight with the little leather strap around it.
First of all, them things was dangerous, bro. They were dangerous.
They weren't. They were the perfect weapon. I got into a fight and slipped them jokers off and bashed somebody in the forehead with them damn things. Yes, I did.
Don't try to sneak up on nobody, though.
Hell no.
You can hear them a mile away.
Welcome, Billy. Man,
what's up, Billy? How you doing, bro?
You talk about making sparks. I made sparks with every bus that came down the road. Every car went the corner, I was on the bumper.
Skate real fast and then hit that little side slide.
Yes. Yes. And to make matters worse, I'm gonna see you, Ron. I'm gonna see you. I wore them running around on my green machine.
Oh, you had a green machine?
What machine?
Oh man, you had a green machine. I
did.
Y'all was rich, man.
Shit. Who said rich? It's called taking.
I know. Yes, I got mine.
I took the green one from the boy down the block.
That's how I got mine.
And you saw me running down the block with that thing.
Bro.
And I hit that thing with my steel roller skates. So that's how I was making it look fancy. I slack. They're like, oh, he got stocks on his green machine.
Yeah, man. That was a bad well, it was before the green machine was the big wheel, and then they came out with the green machine, and we were, bro, you was rich, you had a green machine. All right, well, I'm gonna take you one. All right, so which one did you do with your bicycle, Jay? Did you put the popsicle in the spokes, or did you use a little hub to make the sound?
I put the popsicle stick. Because I needed it to sound loud.
Right.
It's a break, man. Come on now. Come on now.
Bro.
With the banana seat? Yes, that was me.
Yeah. They don't know about nothing about that banana seat, bro.
Banana seat all day long. Welcome back out the pit.
Welcome back out the pit.
It's a pleasure. Philly French, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Yo, that's funny, man.
Clothespins. That's right. Cars and clothespins. That's because the clothespin back in the day was real wood. So you could stick that joker right on that spoke.
Right.
And it works on both ends. With no problem. All you got was straight when you riding down the, and you had that, boy, you had the rip. Look here, I don't know which one you had, but I had a white banana seat with sparkles in it, all white, and I had a chrome seat bar in the back.
Yeah, I had a swing. I had a swing. Before Huffy started making, Swim was out there, and then you had the Huffy. Come on, bro.
You ain't had no Schwinn. If you had a Schwinn, you weren't broke.
It was green.
You had a Schwinn, you weren't broke. Don't tell me you had hand downs.
I knew how to fight.
You were not getting no hand downs, bro.
I knew how to fight.
Look here now. I'm gonna have to go ahead and make this one straight.
Wait. No. I didn't say I bought a Schwinn. I didn't say I bought a Schwinn.
You had a Schwinn, you was not broke.
I didn't buy a Schwinn. I ain't say nothing about Bob. I ain't gonna lie. I two-piece some white dude, and I was out. I went right down on the white side, and give me that bike and roll.
Look here. See.
Allegedly.
Look here. On my block, we went down to, unfortunately, look here now. You see my complexion, right? You see and you hear how it sounds, right?
Right.
I used to go into the Spanish neighborhood and take the Huffies and run right back to my block.
I wasn't messing with them.
I did it. Look here, they weren't coming to my block. I had 3 gangs around me. They weren't coming into my block. I used to get away with it.
Bro, I feel it. Listen, it was too many of them, and they were too unified. I wasn't stupid.
Look here, I was stupid. I was very stupid.
Bro, let me tell you something. And true story, my brother got into some beef with them, man. And they came around my neighborhood heavy. When I say they came heavy, they came heavy. Now, we had to run them up. Now, the other guys in the neighborhood, they came back, ran them up out of here. But I like, nah, we good. I ain't messing with them.
Yes. All war.
I was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Plus, I wanted to make friends with them anyway because they like to feed you. So I ain't care. Nah, I need them to be my friend.
Look here. I'm gonna tell you something funny. When they came out with that movie called The Warriors, man, you talk about bringing back some memories.
Right.
Woo-wee. Boy, I sat back. I was like this. Oh, Lord, that's what I used to do as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
Man.
We was bored, man. We had nothing to do.
Bored?
Well, you know what I mean? We created our excitement. Let me put it another way. We created our excitement.
This is true. We did.
I try to tell people this, and sometimes people don't think I know they misunderstand what I mean by it. And I said, it wasn't until I got older, I realized that all of us men have a death wish. Like symbolically, we have a
What?
death wish.
Who
And it
you
was
telling?
like, and it was like, what do you mean? I said, we suicidal. I said, in order for us to have all the great stuff that we have right now, you have to be suicidal or want to have a death wish.
Absolutely.
I
You
said,
can't
we
be straight-minded.
No, you can't just get in the car and say, oh, I want to go 15 miles per hour. No, not us, man. We want to try to max it out. I want to go 200. You know what I mean? We didn't win. We went from jumping over a fence to jumping out of airplanes.
You know, Billy talking about he grew up in the 80s in this place, right? I think it's at Benton Harbor. Billy, I'm gonna ask you this question. Did you ever play manhunt on rooftops? Meaning you had to jump from building to building?
Yeah. Don't let it be a block with a whole bunch of abandoned houses.
Billy part of the game now. Billy definitely part of the game.
Bro, let me tell you. We had, we in Philly, we had a whole bunch of abandoned houses, right? And you got the row houses, but in the back part of the row houses is where the separations are at. People don't realize that. It might look like there's a row in the front, but when you get to the back part of the houses, it's separated. So we out there, like when you say manhunt, we jumping over the separation part. You miss, it is a wrap.
Total. No spring mattress down there. There's the difference. Spring mattress just straight off springs, and then of course you got the mattress, right? We used to do that straight jump from roof, and we're not talking about no 3-story building. It had to be literally 6 stories or better. We weren't playing on no small buildings. We were jumping from building to building, literally.
Yep. And
because
it's
that's
funny,
what
you in New York acting a fool. I'm in Philly acting a fool, and we're basically telling the same similar story.
Absolutely. Hell, man, look here, all the buildings I jumped from roof to roof are still standing to this day. And I stand back and I say, damn, was I a fool?
What was I thinking? What was I say it all the time. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Ron, I kid you. I pulled up a picture of a building that it was literally on the same block where I grew up on, right?
Wow.
This building had 2 separate buildings. There had to be about a good 40 feet between each roof. And I stood back and I said, damn, I was able to jump 40 feet when I was young. Boy, I was a bad motor scooter when I was young. Boy, I tell you, they couldn't tell me nothing.
You never thought about the fact that you're going to die, possibly.
Absolutely. Die. No, there was no such thing as dying.
Bro, then the train that used to run through my neighborhood, my house, was Conrail, freight train.
Okay.
Right. That was my transportation downtown. Because there was a wall there. We would jump over the wall, run fast enough to grab the train. Hopefully you didn't pick up enough speed before you get it. Bam, we on the train. That's how we rode. That's how I rode downtown Philadelphia.
Well, as I said before, and I'm going to say again, we got way too much shit in common. That rail station that's on Park Avenue, after I got a little older, not too older, just a little older, right. We used to go play on that rail station because it not only did it have the Metro North on there, it also had the train line called Amtrak. And Amtrak back in the day would just straight go from one end to the other.
Yeah, Amtrak ran over top of there. Conrail ran like this, and Amtrak ran over top of where I was at.
No, I was at. They ran side by side.
Oh, wow.
One. For some apparent reason, what they call surfing now, train surfing,
right?
They call it train surfing now. Back in the day, it was called train catching.
We called it hopping the train.
Yep. Yes. We would jump from one train onto the other. And if you miss, your ass is done.
I can't wait neither out the pit. Believe me, we saving a whole lot for you, bro. Believe me, we ain't running nowhere out.
Look here now. As I said to Queen just a moment ago, you got to have a box of tissues, and you better have yourself an ice bag as well, because your stomach's going to be hurting from all the laughing after or before or during all the crying. So you got to have both and be ready. Get your popcorn, get your goobers. All your snacks have to be right there, because it's going to be on fire.
Man,
hell yeah, we made it out alive. Look here, look here. Go ahead.
I gotta ask you a question, and I know we did some like. All right, so me and my friends one day, right? I don't know why we do stupid stuff and we challenge each other some of the dumbest games. So there was this bridge that we would walk past when we would go swimming, right? For some reason, we looking at this bridge, and the way, you know how bridges are made with the stones on the side, and they go at different height. All right, so we we want to see who can jump off of the highest part of the stone, the bridge, onto the ground. Right. All right, so the one stone's probably about 4 feet high. That ain't nothing. Everybody jumping. So every time that stump, we go to the next stone, it's almost doubling up.
Okay.
So now we at 4 feet. Of course, everybody gonna do that. Now we at 8 feet. That gets a little bit worse. Now we at 12 feet.
Okay.
Right? Man, I ain't never messed them out. You ever jump and your knee hits your mouth? Me and my dumb friend, we decided we're gonna jump the 12-foot one. Straight to the concrete. My momentum came down so fast, my knee hit my mouth so hard. Now, we're not hang jumping. We just jumped. Now, I did it first. I tried to fake it like nothing was hurting because I didn't want him to not do it. I was in so much pain. And then I let him go. He does the same dumb thing. He's like, man, my knee hit. Oh, my knee. He's like, you all right, man? He said, my knee hit my mouth. I'm like, mine did too. I think I just swallowed like an ounce of blood. I'm like, he's like, why you in some, man? Look, I'm not going to be in pain by myself. We going swimming with bloody mouths.
Right. Well. Here's the word part. I'm not going to one up on you. I'm going to agree with you. But what happened to me, I jumped from one side of one roof onto another roof, right? I misjudged. Here it comes. Back in the day on the rooftops, they had the hang wire. They had the steel pieces that the people used to come up and hang their clotheslines on.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about.
I misjudged jumping onto a roof that had a couple there. When I landed, not only did I land on both knees and hit my jaw straight up this way.
Oh, man, I know what that feel like.
But when because it's like an immediate response to go like this. I went like this, and my back of my head done hit the pole where they hang the damn line on, knocked my ass clear out.
Wow.
I was knocked out. Not only from the jaw hit, from the back, it was a two-piece. Boom, bang.
Yeah,
straight blood, everything missing tooth.
We did some dumb stuff. We did. I can't count how many dumb things I've done. And I'm not gonna tell you. Literally, I've almost killed myself many a times. That's why I said, people, you don't understand. Boys psychologically have a death wish. Because
no, Ron, no. Boys don't. These boys these days, they don't know what it's like.
No, they don't.
Okay.
Nah.
They don't know what it's like. Okay?
I mean,
anybody, I'm gonna put it like this, with the exception of Out the Pit, right?
Okay.
Anybody any male, rather should I say, between the age of 20 and 35, they don't know what it's like to have the kind of lifestyle we grew up on. That dangerous lifestyle. Okay.
You know what I laugh at every time I see it?
I'm gonna tell you one
on a
last
bicycle
story.
with a helmet.
Look, I'm gonna tell you one last story because I gotta save some juicy stuff for out the pit. I was on a bicycle. This is before they made 10 speeds now.
Okay.
I was on a bicycle that was just as big as a 10 speed. I built it myself.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't a 10 speed, it just had one single sprocket on it. But it was the same height as a 10 speed. No brakes. No brakes. I comes down the hill. Now, I think that anybody who knows about the Bronx, there's a hill over by McCombs Road that goes towards the University Avenue.
Okay.
This hill looked like a 45-degree drop straight.
Yeah, we had one in Philly called Rising Sun Hill. It was like that.
Oh, Lord.
But it's probably about 2 blocks from my house.
This hill, the only way you could stop at the bottom is either hitting some or you had some good ass brakes. I had no brakes.
Yeah, you were trying.
I went down this hill, my chain popped, so I couldn't put the damn thing. You know, back in the day, you go in reverse, and that's what stopped the bike. That's your brake. The chain broke. Chain broke. Now I'm free rolling down the hill. You ain't right, Tuck, but you ain't right. You ain't.
Yeah, we got mental issues. Something wrong,
Bruh. Bottom of the hill was a two-way roadway with no traffic light, and there was a ton of cars coming. Why? I jumped off the bike and I used the bike as a brake. I'm sliding on the bike going down the hill. I needed to find a way to stop. That joker got to the bottom, and I saw somebody going like this, trying to get the cars to stop. I'll tell you like this. Yes. The only thing I remember was seeing a chrome bumper of a 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme photo.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get hit by no car back then.
Yeah.
You didn't want to get hit by
how
nothing.
I learned what year it was? Because I looked it up after my ass got up off the ground. I started asking everybody what kind of car that was. Almost took my ass out.
Wow. Man.
We've done some real stupid stuff back in the day.
Man, it's countless.
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 And it's just amazing. This is why, you know, as we get older, we're supposed to get smarter, right? That's the old saying, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're supposed to learn from our mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say out the pit's gonna have a real good laugh when I come up on the mic. When I comes up on the mic, yeah, we're gonna talk about this same thing. We're gonna talk about it because Bernie Mac ain't got nothing on me.
All right.
Let me just say, there's gonna be a whole lot of, well, damn, Jay, really, Jay? Did you not learn, Jay?
Nope.
And I'm like, nope.
Sometimes I forget. Even at my age, sometimes I forget. I'm not supposed to do certain things, and I don't think. I just go do, and I'm not supposed to do that. Not supposed to do that.
Man, Ron, you done started some nonsense.
Yeah, man.
Like that. You started some nonsense. And again, I gotta thank everybody that's here listening, that's enjoying this stuff, the shenanigans. Look, I say it all the time, and I say it again. I appreciate you allowing me to take up the time in your life to sit and listen to me. Sit and listen, Ron. I'm gonna say safely, we appreciate you taking the time to allow us to be in your time, because everybody's time is precious. Now let's keep it 100. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, man, we've been here this long. I'm looking at how many people are listening and watching. I really appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all taking that time out to listen to this. I really do.
I definitely do.
It just amazes me on how well we can come together for good, bad, ugly, and otherwise.
Yep.
And out the pit, you better be ready, bro.
Ready out the pit.
Look here now. You're gonna have to call it 3 segments.
I know. Yo.
Woo-wee.
So you gotta get your audience ready out the pit. If y'all not, make sure y'all tune in to Out the Pitch channel when you get ready to do his podcast. Because I'm gonna tell you like now, I'm unleashing. I'm unleashing. I'm going in the archives.
Oh damn.
I'm going into the archives.
Don't do it. Don't do it. If you come, I'm telling you now, you come with the archives, I'm gonna blow the dust off my books. I'm gonna open up the library that's been closed for over 5 decades.
Don't do it.
Man.
Jay, be careful, because there's some skeletons. I know.
I ain't gonna be able. No, I'm bringing my skeletons too.
I'm bringing my skeletons too.
I'm bringing my skeletons are gonna show the world why I am the way I am.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do.
That's why I'm going in the archives. I'm going, like Jay said, some of it gonna have you laughing. Some of it will have you crying. Because I said, I got hundreds, thousands.
With all respect to everybody who's listening and everybody who's watching, please understand something. You cannot, and I say this with all respect, you cannot expect to hear 2 old dudes not talk about their life and laugh about it. Because I can tell you right now, just off of the little bit that we touched right now,
the
little bit we touched right now, anybody in their right mind would say, damn it, y'all two are just straight crazy. Y'all need to be somewhere. Ain't no way in hell y'all can be part of society with all them crazy shit running around in your heads. Because we speak like it was yesterday. And I said in my best English, like it was yesterday.
Yep.
Okay? Because, come on now. If I showed you a picture of the building I used to jump from, y'all think I was crazy. No, y'all would say I was out my stinking mind.
Yep.
I'm not talking about jumping from one high roof to a low roof. I'm talking jumping from a low roof to a high roof. Okay? Riding bicycle with no brakes.
Be honest with you, man.
That's the car. Jumping from trains.
Yep. That's why. And honestly, you have to be grateful. You have to be thankful to God, man. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I know he probably looking at me. If I don't do something soon,
look here now.
If I don't test this boy soon, he gonna yeah.
I put it like this: the creator puts people in front of each other for a reason, right?
Yep.
We know this. Ain't nobody gonna sit here and say that's not true.
Right.
There's a reason why the creator puts certain people in front of each other to create a circle, right?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we have to understand something. The creator has a plan. The creator has us put here for a reason. And we cannot be here unless the creator didn't allow it to happen.
Right.
So first and foremost, we must give thanks to the creator. Okay? And
Thank you.
anybody and everybody.
What's up, bro, Ryan? Quarterman, what's up, bro? How you doing? God bless you. Welcome in.
I'm squinting because my other eyes on. We have to understand something. The Creator put us all together for a reason.
Yep.
So everybody who's listening, and everybody who's watching, yeah. I thank you. I appreciate you.
Too. We both do.
Because at the end of the day, it's the Creator that brought us together. Even if it's for 2 minutes. Because look here now, that 2 minutes of laughter that Ron and I created, that had our guts literally just straight ratched, there's a reason for it. Okay? For Out the Pit to invite us to his podcast for Testimonial Day, there's a reason for it. So whatever that reason is, we just gonna embrace. I know I'm just gonna embrace it. I'm just gonna embrace it. Bro, Ron Quarterman, I believe it says I'm just pushing 6966 group in New York. You guys brought back some memories from me. All right, Ron.
That's what's
up.
All
right, Quarterman. Look at that. Look at Quarterman. You said New York. Look here. I need to know.
They just went home.
I need to know what parts of New York you talking. So go ahead and put it up there. What part of New York you talking? Because I need to know that we cross paths. Because if we made you laugh and brought back some great memories, that's right. The Creator decided.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Out the Pit. I agree with you 100 on that one, bro.
100. I agree. 100. Straight facts. But somebody say that we brought memories out of their bank, Ron, we done started some stuff.
I know.
Right? And I look at it like this. If Quarterman was enjoying this moment, Quarterman embrace it and understand that tomorrow now is going to be a much better day because you relieve some of that stress with the laughter and the memories that were brought back just made you a little more stronger to take on the nonsense that you may come across moving forward.
Yeah. And Quarterman, if you haven't already, if you haven't already, please follow Out the Pit. Connect with his podcast. Because when we jump on there, we gonna go buck wild crazy. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. But we're gonna open up the archives and I'm gonna try to behave myself as much as I can possibly do that, master. But there's a good possibility I'm gonna go look.
Oh Lord. Woo-wee. God, look here now. Look here. I'm gonna keep this one PG. I'm gonna keep this one PG because he said Hempstead, Strong Island in the 60s. Or we couldn't. No. I know what was going on over there. Ron, earlier you said how we had to stay away from certain groups of people because they came strong.
Right.
They didn't call it Strong Island in the 60s for nothing. I'll tell you like that. Look here now. Yeah. All right, Quarterman. I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna take my hat off that I ain't wearing. I'm gonna take my hat off and I'm gonna salute you with it. Because you had a rough upbringing over there. Yes, you did. I know it's about Strong Island in the 60s, 70s. And pre-record, man, you're gonna have to pre-record that one. Yes. Because it's
yeah.
Look here. You're gonna have to put a disclaimer in the very opening scene. Not rated PG. Not rated G. Nudity is not seen, but can be visualized. It's gonna be things that's gonna
Oh, he
straight
said-
knock your drawers off.
I know. I'm from Philly. Oh, so he got family members from Philly.
Woo!
Man, oh man, oh man.
Now y'all see Ron Roberts' little beard, right? You see?
And listen, I want to ask what part of Philly, but I'm scared. I'm like, what part of Philly?
Ron rubbing his little beard for a reason.
You know, I'm
He's
like,
trying to pull out them whiskers.
what part of Philly?
Ron trying to pull out them little whiskers. Ron, I think you gotta start taking that cream instead of putting it up here, put it down here, because you're gonna need them whiskers.
Yes.
Boy.
J Bone pressure.
The way you was actually thinking right there, Ron, boy, you had a real deep thought there.
See, because when somebody say, listen, Philly got a lot of small parts. Philly's it's not as big as New York, but it got a lot of small parts. And it don't take, listen, if you lived in North Philly, right? If you lived in North Philly, you didn't mess with Nicetown. Now, Nicetown was right beside North Philly. Nicetown didn't bang with Logan. Logan was right beside Nicetown. And the list just keeps going on and on and on. And we like right beside each other. The fighting grounds was Huntington Park.
Look here. The only thing I can say, Ron, is, man, I keep my fingers crossed you didn't take his swing.
I know. I'm like, oh, man. Is that the... Man, oh, man. I feel bad when I look back at some of the stuff I did as a teenager. I feel bad, man. I'm like, man, I was so wrong.
I think I got lucky when he said Strong Island went right to Philly.
I know.
Because if he would have said the boogie down, I would have been like, did we cross paths?
Yeah, man.
Did we get to?
Yeah,
man.
Philly, man. Philly and New York is very similar animals, man. And it's not all bad. We just joking around. It's not. It's really just joking around and acting a fool.
Don't lie. No, don't lie. Don't lie.
Oh, snap!
He said Germantown.
Germantown. Woo! Ah. Man, I got a story about Germantown.
Boy, look at him. Look at him. I'm going to get in close for this one.
Listen,
I think Ron
now, back then, all right, so Germantown back then.
Think Brother Ron is scared. Look at how he rubbing his chin. Oh, sure. Somebody unraveled his thing.
Wait, listen. Let me tell you a story about Germantown, right? Funny, right? So me and my friends, back then, Germantown was all train tracks and cobblestones, right? So me and my friends, we coming back from, I don't remember where we was coming back from, but we had to walk through Germantown, right? And for some reason, everybody was out that day. And it was at nighttime. There was a lot of dudes out there. Now, we walking past, and it's these three girls. My buddy says something to one of the girls, and she just kind of shoot him off, right? Of course, he didn't like it, so he says something smart to her. Now, there's four of us. They go past us. Of course, there's a bunch of dudes coming from around the corner because they went around the corner and must have said something to him. I look back, I hear people running. It had to have been about 30 dudes. And it's four of us. We like this now. I ain't never ran in so tired in my life. Man, I wonder what my buddies, but I'm like, man, why you had to get smart with that girl? But yeah, man. But I'm gonna get up out of here too, brother, man. I enjoy this all the time, man. I enjoy, man. I almost lost my life that day. I felt like it. We was only like
Yeah.
14, 15 years old.
I don't know. I say it like this. I don't know how we're gonna fit all this stuff into Out the Pits podcast, man. Because we talking about I can tell you off the top of my head, I'm gonna tell you like this. My archives has 17 years. I had to look at the archive now. My archive has 17 years of straight crazy stuff. Okay.
Wow. You probably got me beat on that one. I don't think I had that many years.
17 years of crazy stuff. I kid you not. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've done a lot of stuff, but it was in a short period of time.
I'm talking about from 6 years of from 6 years old all the way. Yeah, man. Right to that. Yeah. Right to where the creator said it's either you do what I say or you gone. Real talk. Real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I mean, it started early with me too. I'm gonna say probably 8 to 9 years old. But I think once I hit 18, 19, somewhere in that ballpark, it shifted to another. It shifted, but even this other stuff after 18 and 19 is even great stories, but it's just different.
Well, I look like this. My 17 years of nonsense. When we get on that podcast, it'd be 17 years of showing that the creator told me to stop. And of course, not saying I did, because I didn't stop. I just took a long pause.
Yeah.
Because I still did a whole lot of stuff wrong.
Yeah.
In my early 20s.
Yeah.
My early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think no, matter of fact, not that I don't think, I know that I did not mature until I hit my 40s.
Wow.
Okay. That's when I matured. And me and my wife, we've been together. We just bad thing. Us men, we got to keep track of when we actually were involved in the marriage now. You get in a whole lot of trouble. We had sat down and we said, we've been together now 14 years. All the way around.
That's a blessing.
Now, yes, it is. It is a blessing. And I could tell you like this, with all the nonsense that I've been through and that I endured, especially way up into my 40s, not telling you how old I am now, but I could tell you like this, Quarterman and we run a real close second. Okay? So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. Uh-oh. Am I seeing? Let me put my eyes on, because I see something about M80.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
That's thank God.
If I'm seeing that correctly, and I saw M80, he running around with a quarter stick of dynamite. Because when I grew up messing around with the M80s, we stuck 6 of them jokers together and threw them in a building. And that was not a pretty ending in that building.
Yeah, when I had M80s, I used them for the phone booth. Because when you put an M80 in the phone booth, you know what you get.
A whole lot of coin.
Yeah.
Look here now. I didn't say I was a saint. I said I wasn't a saint growing up.
Yeah, that was dangerous out the pit. That was a dangerous one.
So we were creating holes to gain entry.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a dangerous one, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's why I say I didn't become a man and an adult until I hit my 40s. Okay. I was just gonna say. And with that being said, hold on now, Quarterman. Yeah, yeah, more than a finger. Yeah, more than a finger. Look here, I got a buddy, a young friend, rather not a friend anymore. But I had a young associate back in the day that we called him Lefty for a reason. Okay, messing around with them M80s.
Yeah,
again,
man.
we used to strap more than one together. And if I don't, M80s weren't, M80s were like, when I used to buy them, like 10 cents, 10, 15 cents buying them.
Yeah, they were cheap. Well,
So, you know,
that still look like a.
it wasn't easy. It wasn't.
How you manage? Wait. I've never in my life heard a story like. Wait. How did those two things happen?
No, no, the F he did. He didn't just fluff up in here and fluff around. And mother effing fluff and talking about poison ivy in the dreads. What in the shit? No, 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 no. Oh no, we lost Ron. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, I think Ron fell on his internet card. Oh, oh my goodness gracious. Oh, Ron.
Yo,
All I can say is you really fell on the line this time.
yeah, I know.
Oh
Hey,
my.
man. I get man. Listen, that's the story of the day right now, bro.
Yes. Talking about the perfect story to close the storyline.
Right. That is it. You know, it don't even matter what we talked about before. It's done.
Hey, I was thinking now.
It's over.
Boy, I don't think there was that much calamine lotion back in the day to cover that nonsense right there.
Out the pit was laying back there in the cut like, I got this M80 I'm about to throw in this chat. Boom.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. Running from the police and you get poison ivy in your crap.
In his dreads. I could you know, I just off of understanding how he see things and listening to how he speak.
Real quick, out the pit. After that happened, was you dreading what you did?
You're right. Ron, you wrong for that one.
Oh my goodness.
Ron, you wrong for that one, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Oh my gosh. What?
Oh man.
You know what? Quarterman, please subscribe to Out the Pits podcast because you just hit it out the ballpark. White Castle stories. Look here, they didn't make a White Castle movie just because. I'm just saying.
Oh my
Shalom,
goodness.
no, Maria, shalom. Look here. He's running White Castle, man. White Castles will never, ever, ever be the same. Never. Never be the same. Never. I don't care. Look here now. You went to jail. Because grandma tore into your hind part real well. We both know. Look here, you don't have to say it now. But I know grandma went in your tail. She put a slipper in your tail so far up that you were coughing nothing but tidbits for days. I know that for a fact. You were eating nails for a long time.
That is funny. Oh man.
Grandma, I know grandma got in his tail bad. Man.
Oh man. That was so much fun, man.
You know, first man, thank you for joining up. You know what?
What's up, first man?
We glad you joined. It is on the tail end, you know, but you ain't got much to talk about on the good sense. You know, I mean this with all true sincerity. You came in on the end of the good conversation. Man, there was so much laughter in the past, I'm going to say in the past hour.
Yes.
You will definitely, if you want to have a good chuckle, please watch the replay on this episode because I can tell you right now. And oh yeah, and by the way, everybody, please like, follow, subscribe, and share.
Yes, please do.
Please do. And look here now, it ain't costing you nothing but some good laughs because we come. Look here, brother Ron, and myself, we decided to come on and just talk about everything and anything, right? And all the laughter that came out now is straight sickening. I'm talking about we just stood here laughing for a hot minute. And both of us, I mean, we have so many things in common. Please like and follow our channels.
Yes,
my
and
channel, follow it. Follow Ron's channel as well. For you can we can recap all this good stuff that we throw out there.
Yes.
Even if you just come in for the laughter, it's fine.
It's fine.
Just have a good time. It's all about having a good time.
Yes.
And all right, cool. Appreciate that. No, really, really appreciate it. I mean, we're glad you laughed with us, but man, we can look here. One of the things I always say, when you laugh from internal gut, that you get sweats and your teeth stay closed.
You see my armpits. You see my armpits.
Look at
that. Oh man. But also for those that are in the live, please check out Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. Check out the page. Please follow the page. Also check out the product if you're interested in some hair care products, skincare, hair care. If you got a beard and you trying to get that beard right, check out their product. If you follow their YouTube page, you'll be able to link into this website of the product that they actually sell. So please, when you guys get a chance to, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to all the channels that we're talking about. Also, check out the Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare store. She actually put it into the chat. So if you're not too sure what I'm talking about, there you go right there. And just so y'all know, I'm a customer because I've used their product and I got plenty of it.
A non-paid advertisement customer.
Yes. No get paid. But it's okay. It's okay. I like their product and I appreciate what they're doing. And they put their heart and soul into it. And So if you guys have a chance to, if you're looking at interested in some hair care products, skincare products, I use their products, and I actually appreciate what they do, and I think that they make wonderful product. And so far, I've been happy with the product they have. So that's the reason why I try to inform people of the product that they have, and for those that are interested and maybe looking for some other product. And I had a hair itch problem, and believe me when I tell you, it worked for me. It has worked for me. So please follow her page, Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. Check out their website. You can go to the link, check out their website, see their store, see the things that they have to offer. They make candles. Also, I got candles that they made, and they smell wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonder. And I think I told Out the Pit and Joyce that their stuff was on the way. If I haven't told y'all already, Friday I actually shipped everything out to you guys, so you should be seeing it hopefully very, very soon. And and I appreciate everybody. Jay, appreciate everybody. We appreciate y'all supporting the channel. We appreciate what you guys are doing. Jay, before we go out of here, there's a couple of other things that I want to make inform you of, just so you know. There's a couple of people yesterday. When remember Out the Pit asked me what I was going to do Saturday, and I said I'm tossed between fishing and the gun show. All right, so the rain stopped the fishing. I was on the highway on my way to go fishing, and I got to a point where either gun show left, fishing right, but the rain made me go left. So I ended up going to the gun show. But I ran into a couple of brothers there. And what they do is they do gun training, firearms training. They do a little bit of civic stuff, and then also talk about like getting your concealed carry license, training and stuff like that. And from the looks of the card that they gave me, they travel around. Okay. So my plan is to try to get them on the show one day. Okay. And but being that me and you pretty much have a Sunday commitment, when I running across stuff like that, I'm gonna try to give you a heads up, and because I want to keep you in with this type of stuff. Oh, you want me to come in with it? All right. Okay. Yeah, I want to keep it because me and you, whenever I try to get somebody on the show, I want to get them in there. But I'll let you know outside of what's happening on there. But I also would definitely love to keep you informed, because I want to bring them on the show when we're here, so that because you might have questions, I might have questions, and this is a show that me and you, and we've been doing this on a Sunday basis. So I want to, whenever we do stuff like that, I want to get your hand. And if you run into something too, we could just piggyback it back and forth. And I'm hoping one day, and I know Outpit, I definitely want to get you on one of our Sunday shows if you ever get a chance to, bro, where your time is freed up. We're here at 12 o'clock noon. So if you get a moment Out the Pit, let Jay know, let me know that you could come in on the show, and you welcome in, bro. And that way you don't have to type, and we can just have a conversation, definitely. But Jay, I just want to give you a heads up with that one, and just to let you know that if it kicks off, and I actually connect with them to the point where we can get them on the show, we're gonna definitely do that. All right, cool. I got no problem with that, because I would definitely have a ton of questions for anybody who's prominently in the gun show field and gun training, because of course I could always learn something new. Yeah. Being that I'm here in the South, we have a lot of places to use gun shows and things like that. So we can definitely collab on it. I thought you was gonna say that our times and our shows are gonna be limited, and I got no problem with that as well, because of course I'm humble that you are allowing me to be part of you and your time, your channels. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, same here. I enjoy it. It's not like I can say no. I don't feel comfortable with that. No, I'm very honored that you want me to be part of it, and I appreciate that. I'm all for larger collabs and larger engagement with anybody and anything. I can flow any which way. I don't have any specific genres or concepts or topics. I appreciate that. Hell, I'm always willing to learn. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a career student, so whatever I can learn, I'm gonna be happy with. Yeah, and also to help the audience that we answer some questions and stuff like that. But if this is what these guys do, I'm quite sure they know more than I know.
Right.
And and sometimes they'll point out stuff that I might not point out, but also
No,
give them guys
definitely feelings mutual.
yeah, definitely, man, definitely. It get these guys a chance to give people on the chat and the people there a chance to ask questions that they might want to know about the gun industry, concealed carry in their state, different things like that. These guys probably have a lot more insight than I do. You know what I mean? And so I figured if I can bring them in one day, and I'll let you know if it happens, and I give you, let you know beforehand if it's happening, and you can kind of prepare yourself. But because I feel like I'm good with us doing it the way we do it on Sunday. I don't even want to change it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it by myself no more. I'd rather do it with you because I have fun. It's so much.
Ron, I appreciate that, man. I'm really humble. I really am. All jokes aside, I'm really humble. And Quarterman, for him to say that we're a good fit together, that's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate that. I really do. I'm humbled to see that the audience finds us and our chemistry so well that they enjoy it, and I appreciate that, and to see how other people see. Hold on now. He called me out. I gotta put my eyes on. Hold on now. I gotta do a Fred Sanford. Hold on. Jay, I hear you. The person who thinks that they know it all is the person that life will love to teach them. You know what? You're 100% correct, and I appreciate that comment, man. I really do. Yes. I really do appreciate that, and like Top the Bomb just said, he's in the Philippines, so that's a big journey,
Yes.
And I appreciate you taking the time. I'm humble, and I say this to everybody, not just Quarterman, because I do have Ron here. Ron, I can't say Ron because then we're gonna get things confused. So Quarterman, I gotta say it like this, and I say it all the time, and I say it on any live I do, any content I put out there, I tell everybody, I'm not gonna call you all out. I'm not gonna say everybody's name. I'm just gonna say it in general. Those who are watching, those who are partaking, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that you guys allow me to be part of your life and your time at this moment, because your time is as precious as mine. And I know that you can find a ton of other things to do than just be listening to me and enjoying us. And now Brother Ron and myself, we do this collab every Sunday. We appreciate you taking, all of you, we appreciate you allowing us to take up your time to be part of you in your life at this moment, okay? Because truly, we got to understand something. Everybody's time is precious. Everybody's time is much more needed to do something else. The fact that you took that time to listen to us for this moment and this day, I appreciate it more than anything that you guys, there's no words that can describe it.
Yes.
I am humbled that you allowed me in your life. I am humbled that you allowed me to take up some of your time of your life.
Yes.
And as you enjoyed the content that Brother Ron and myself have provided today, you know what? At the end of the day, it's a blessing.
Yes, it is.
Because, we say it, a lot of times people misunderstand what we say. I say it like this because I don't like to offend anybody. The Creator has allowed us to come together and enjoy the good, bad, ugly, and so forth. So with that being said, please understand, I'm enjoyed. I'm humble. I'm humble that you guys, that everyone, male, female, young, old, are sitting here listening to us and enjoying it. Because at the end of the day, back in the day, it's kind of funny. Back in the day, I had to sit on the phone for 4.5 hours on weekends to have long conversations like this. Okay? Because that's when the weekends were free.
Right.
You cannot call me before 9 p.m. on Monday through Thursday. But right now, we can do it for hours and not worry about nothing because everything's unlimited.
When I was selling cell phones, that was a selling point for me. Once they started, when they got rid of buying the minutes and stuff. So people would come in there and they was like, well, how, what about nights and weekends? I said, no, it's the same all day long. You can make a 24-hour phone call. You don't have to hang up no more.
Yeah, you ain't.
It was like, for real? Oh, I'm in. Set price.
It's priceless. Right now, this is priceless. Having everyone here together,
But I
Male,
appreciate
female,
it.
young and old. This is priceless.
No,
You know,
definitely.
and I gotta say, I'm pleased and I'm honored and I'm humbled that you were able to enjoy the laughter, enjoy the silliness that I provided, enjoy the silliness that Ron and I provided. You know, I look at it like this, like Patch Adams says. Patch Adams famously said, "Every day you laugh is one day that you get better health." So, you know what? Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you all, brother Ron.
Mhm.
I tell you this every time we talk. We got way too much stuff in
Yeah,
common,
it's
man.
scary, man.
I mean, way too much stuff, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost
Way
like
too much.
we literally were sitting on the opposite ends of the island and whatnot, but
Yeah.
and doing the same damn thing
Yeah.
and living almost the same stuff.
Roughly about 2-hour drive apart, and we out there doing the same cuckoo bird
Yes,
stuff.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, man.
So I'm at a loss for words, man.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
am
think
too,
we were
man.
gonna last this long today.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate it, brother Ron. I gotta tell you, man. I appreciate you allowing me to be part of your world.
Same here, bro.
Every minute that you allow me to be part of, I'm humble.
Same here.
And I appreciate you, right?
Same here, man.
And even as you're a customer, besides you being a customer, I still look at you as family.
Oh,
Even
same
more
here.
so now. Okay, even more so now with all the stuff that we just talked about.
Right.
And I know when we get on that Out the Pit podcast,
oh man, it's gonna be fire.
it's gonna be like that. Let me
I'm
just
gonna
put
do
it
the
in
whole
there right
podcast in my country voice.
You know, I was about to say the same damn thing. I'm gonna come in there. I'm gonna speak just like I'm supposed to speak. Being I'm in the Carolinas.
Matt, I think I'm gonna do a podcast while I was sitting in my pickup truck hauling some wood.
Well, I'm gonna sit in my yard and I'm gonna make sure I'm sitting on the tractor. This way, y'all can hear the tractor going while I'm trying to say what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I want to smell some good old diesel engine.
Well, I'll make sure I'm gonna get some smoke going in the grill so way y'all can be just jealous and seeing all that good old meat smoking in the background.
But yeah, I ditto what you said, Jay, man. I appreciate you too, bro. I really do. Appreciate y'all time. I appreciate everything you know. I mean, everything, man. And I think that's why I was glad that we started doing this show together, man. And it is a blessing for me too. And all of the people that be in the chat, Out the Pit, Joyce, Art, your wife, every single person, man. We appreciate everything y'all do. How y'all support the channel and stuff like that. And like I said, I know when Jay was speaking, he was speaking for me too. When I'm speaking for him too. Is that we definitely appreciate it. I mean, and as our channels grow and as the show grow, we never know where it's going to go. But the other thing is just make sure we supporting each other as much as we possibly can. Unfortunately, I'm an early sleeper because I get up real early in the morning time. But so I usually have to try to go back and try to watch Out the Pit show if he does it, or Jay's show when he does it. He caught me up. We caught me in the middle. I woke up and caught him one night. I was like, "Yeah, I'm up. Okay, I'm up." But then, probably like maybe the last 5 to 10 minutes, I faded out.
I was shocked. I'm gonna say it right now. I didn't want to call you. I was doing it because I knew you was getting ready to go to that bed.
Yeah, I was already in bed and on my way down when it was like, "Oh, I'm up." Okay. So
the bad thing is. You know what the bad thing is, Ron?
What's that?
That just shows. Look here now. You going to bed that early because you got to work.
Right.
But I know it's because of your age. You can tell everybody it's because of work. But I'm saying. Okay. Because I'm having dinner at 6 o'clock. And if it wasn't because I got these 2 fur babies, I'll probably be sleeping too. I'm be honest. Right? And I'm retired technically, but yet the wife has me working. So, I understand, but and I enjoyed the fact that you sat there that night for them 5 minutes. I really did. And anytime we get together, Ron, it doesn't matter. It's always gonna be a happy moment, man.
Yeah, man.
And I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be part of your life. And I appreciate and humbly that you are part of my life now. Yeah. I'm gonna try to remember everybody's name right now. Watch this. And I'm gonna do the opposite of what Mr. Blue did when he stood in front of me for 15 minutes. Out the Pit, Queen Sackcloth, Joyce, Quarterman, Chris For Real, Donald, I know he's listening. Mike. Hold on now. I want to try to get everybody. I want to try to get everybody. Now, Maria, first man. Look here now. If I forgot anybody else, I apologize. But those are the names that just resonated in my head. And I appreciate you all. I truly do appreciate you all stopping in.
Both of them.
Okay. And like Ron said, I'm not gonna speak for Ron, but I'm gonna add his words in for him. I'm sure he appreciates it as well. And unfortunately now, as the old man says, my bladder is screaming.
Yeah, we used to Donald. We know. We used to Donald. He's still family.
Donald would always be family.
Yes, he
and
will.
For anybody, I'm gonna put it like this: if you don't know Donald, add him to your channel. If he don't come into your channel and have some fun, then you missing out on Donald's fun. Okay. I embrace Donald like that cousin from down the block. Okay. You gotta love him, but you can't have him in your life every single day, but you gotta love him.
I get with that. I go with that one. Yes. But yeah, he good. He good. He good fan. He good people.
He good people, definitely.
He good people. Yeah.
All right. With that being said, Brother Ron, as always, it's a pleasure.
Same here, bro.
I appreciate you. And I look forward to us getting together next Sunday. And I look forward to us getting together at any given time. You have my number. You want to chop it up on the phone? We can chop it up any given time. You know that. My phone's always all right. Let me phrase it. After 10 p.m., from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Not saying I'm not awake. You know, old man Bladder be walking in the middle of the night, walking to the bathroom.
You already know you ain't gonna get no phone call from Miles behind that time of night anyway.
I'm just saying, if you got my number, little nephew, missus, y'all got my number. If y'all need to call me, I'm just let you know. I will answer. You know, but I may be tinkling at that moment. The old man got to go.
Oh man.
But I love y'all. I'm just letting you know how busy I be.
Yes, we do.
So I may not be all together in the brain. But I appreciate everybody being here. Please, please, please understand. I just look for laughter. I'm gonna be a clown every time I get a chance because I want everybody to laugh. And there'll be times I want you guys to be, I want you guys to be serious. So out the pit, when that podcast is ready, woo, please understand, I'm gonna enjoy every single moment of it. So I'm gonna use Brother Ron's phrase. I'm a copycat. Brother Ron always says, so with that being said, peace.
Peace.